Welcome to Travolting, hosted by Jeff Sweeney and Stuart Elmore, covering Grease, with very special guest Cathy Schumann. Welcome, everyone, to this very special episode. As I said in the intro that you have just heard, we are covering Grease today, directed by Ronald Kleiser.
Right, 1978.
Randall Kleiser, not Ronald.
You say
not
Ronald?
I said Ronald.
That's okay.
Cut that out. No.
Not cutting that out.
Randall Kleiser, our dear friend from The Boy in the Plastic Bubble himself. And today, as I said, we were joined by a very special guest. Dear friend of the show and our first supporter, Cathy Schumann.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
I'm happy to be here.
Happy to have you.
Thank you.
This is very exciting. When I pitched this podcast for the first time, probably like 7 years ago at this point.
It was that long ago, was it?
I've been talking about this for a while. Everyone thought it was a bit, and now I'm doing it.
I thought it was a bit.
That's available to you on Apple Music, Spotify,
Yes,
Google Podcasts, and YouTube.
This bit come to life is available on Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube, and Google Podcasts. Remember to rate, review, subscribe. Hit us with 5 stars. If you dislike it, please email Chuck Grassley at senate.gov and let him know your disappointment in this episode.
And that's the episode. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. Have a great night. But yes, going back to what I said, when I first pitched this podcast a while ago, Cathy was one of our biggest supporters in doing it. She's a diehard Travolta fan.
Yes, I am.
Yes, you are.
Yes.
And is very excited to be here to talk about Grease, just as excited as we are to have her here.
Yes, I'm very excited. I'm a Grease expert, I think.
You think?
Yes.
I
am.
believe you
I
are.
am.
Yes.
I think my friends would say I was a Grease bully. I made them watch it like every day for maybe 2 years.
Mm-hmm. I feel like Grease is one of those movies that everyone just has a story about and some form of connection with. It's a classic, like, a Star Wars or a Wizard of Oz, where everyone has their connection to it.
It was my first Betamax.
Oh,
my grandfather bought it for me. It did kind of break, so it would like kind of go in this loop, but I still watched it. So I was like I am a Grease bully. All my friends know I'm doing this, so they're like, think that's hysterical because it's so long ago.
You're the most qualified person we know.
Yeah. This is like...
I'm proud.
Yeah. I was introduced to Grease by my mom, who was like the musical junkie of the family. Mm-hmm. And I think I watched this really long ago, like in my elementary school years, if not earlier than that, and had vague memories of it. At one point, when I was like in middle school, I remember having this conversation with like, oh, is that like the monster movie? And the reason why I thought it was a monster movie is because of that quick scene where it's like the Blob commercial in the film. And so for like a good maybe 4 years, I thought this was a horror movie called Grease.
Oh, wow.
So it had been a long time. And rewatching it last night, it's like, okay, all right, back to reality now. Yeah.
I believe it or not, had actually not seen the movie in full prior to watching it recently. I had seen parts of it, and in high school, my school did Grease as, I think it was my senior year musical.
And who was Danny Zuko, Jeff?
I was not Danny Zuko. I'm sorry to say. I did audition for the musicals, and they told me I do not have a voice for singing.
I'm breaking my heart, Anakin.
I very embarrassingly did audition, though. I was in one play in high school. You Can't Take It With You.
Oh.
And unfortunately, I could not take it with me in the future shows.
Oh, man. We hate to see it.
But
wait, so did they not just put you in the... They didn't put you in, like, even the chorus
No, I was
role?
not even in the chorus.
Dang.
Oh,
Stuart,
wow.
you've not heard me sing. Maybe when we get to episode 60, I'll grace everyone with my singing voice. And
This is really the episode to do that. It's a musical.
This is the episode.
Yeah.
This is the episode to do that. I mean, we have a very precious amount of followers right now who we've only said like episode 8's the best Star Wars movie. And so we lost them with that comment.
We lost them with that. We we specifically described this as a Biden era podcast, so we've lost
And then
the 75 million people who voted for Trump.
And this is 2 weeks after the infamous episode 3, the Boy in the Plastic Bubble episode.
that you folks have already listened to.
That you folks have already listened to by now, and we're gonna face the backlash of that in a few days.
Wait, why? I haven't listened to that yet.
Okay, so we're for the folks listening, we are recording this the day before the episode 3 premieres tomorrow. But just a quick story for Cathy here. So, well, Jeff, I feel like it's your story.
Stuart, remember when we said right before this, hey, let's not talk ill about our podcast on this episode. We're starting off by talking. we haven't even covered the movie.
We haven't even gotten to Grease yet.
But no, you folks have already listened to The Boy in the Plastic Bubble. You've made your own decisions about that. I may be hiding on an island in the Caribbean by now.
Yeah. He showed up to set really tired, agreeably, because you were really, really tired. And yeah,
I just got off topic a lot.
Started talking about Transformers: Dark of the Moon.
Yeah.
That was
I only talked about good movies.
Anything not to talk about Boy in the Plastic Bubble? Is that what I'm hearing?
We talked plenty of Boy in the Plastic Bubble, but it's just like there wasn't a lot to talk about with Boy in the Plastic Bubble.
Sure there was.
Well, there was a lot of metaphorical moments that translated to 2020 today with like coronavirus with some.
He was locked in quarantine.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, he's locked in quarantine, and
Yeah.
the whole movie is kind of about a guy who's willing to risk death because he wants to like make out with his neighbor.
Right off on the
off on a
horse.
horse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With his neighbor.
Yeah.
Right. But Grease is not
Yes,
about that.
Grease is a movie.
Grease is about a girl changing her ways for a boy.
No.
So,
True.
yeah.
True.
Fun fact. I learned something about Grease that I don't think anyone else knows.
Okay.
Grease is the word. I don't know if you guys knew that.
I didn't know.
What do you mean, Jeff? Grease is the word.
It's the word that you've heard.
Oh, Lord.
So are we going to get into like how the girl's not supposed to change for the guy? This is like
We do need to.
Yeah.
And there's actually,
True.
Randall Kleiser actually made a comment about that.
Did he?
Yeah. And I might as well just say it now because I think it's an important overall thing of the movie was that he was making a spoof off of those like sort of like Rebel Without a Cause especially did this and other movies where it's like the bad boy has to like clean up his act in order to get the girl of his dreams or something. He said in an interview that he was like spoofing off of that, where instead of that, now it's the girl who has to like kind of dirty herself down to get to with the guy she wants to get.
That's interesting.
It's interesting. I don't know if it really justifies it still, but
No.
We'll get into it more later, but
Yeah.
I find it very interesting how this came right after Saturday Night Fever.
yeah.
And it's almost the opposite character in that John Travolta in that has to like, he's a very masculine guy who just wants to dance, and he has to like break down his masculinity and learn he wants to dance on the floor and just like be himself and embrace his feminine side. Whereas Grease is a movie where the woman's the one who has to conform to his like ideology at the end.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting that he did these two movies back to back.
Because he has that like heartwarming feminine side and like able to connect emotionally.
Yeah.
but then when the guys are around, it's like, don't know what you're talking about, babe.
Right,
File a missing
right.
persons report.
Can I say that is my favorite line in this movie? Where she's like,
You're
what
fake and a phony, and I wish I never laid eyes on you.
It's like, what happened to that boy I used to know? And he's just like,
maybe it was two of us.
Why don't you check the Yeah, what is
It's like, why you filed missing persons report?
no, he says, they got our missing pages at try the yellow papers.
I love that part. I used to quote that all the time.
that is one of the best lines.
But that's not him. We'll talk.
He is lovely in this movie.
You can almost say like, at the end, he does get chills eventually.
Yeah, they're one could say they're multiplying.
Should we talk about? Should we start from the top, Jeff? Oh, well, we got to fill in some context about Travolta's
Yes.
career.
So
this is a Travolting podcast, so we got to fill in the cracks from Saturday Night Fever to Grease.
That's
So,
why I'm
like-
here, guys.
Yeah.
Oh, you have the first-hand knowledge.
I do. I couldn't see Saturday Night Fever because I was too young, but I was from Sweat Hogs to A Boy in the Plastic Bubble, I think, right?
Yeah.
Then I couldn't see Saturday Night Fever. I was too young. And then I got to see Grease.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, because my thought, it was like Saturday Night Fever, then going into Grease, it's like that was his Oscar nomination.
Right.
It was like his actor role, like is more of a like I hate saying like thespian like thing, but it's very much more of like an art housey like film.
Right.
Whereas Grease is like for the masses and
Right.
everybody. And so what was that? I don't know. Like, did you watch Saturday Night Fever later down the road and like comparing the two? Because they're so short, like right there with his career, two
Right.
movies back to back. And did that change your perspective of like who Travolta was as an actor after not being able to see Saturday Night Fever, but being able to see Grease early on?
Probably not, because I was a kid and I wasn't probably thinking about that, you know.
Right.
I mean, but now looking back, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he did a great job in Saturday Night Fever.
It's fun that it's after like Saturday Night Fever is when his career really just takes off. I mean, he's been Vinnie Barbarino for a while. He's getting out of Vinnie Barbarino to
He was still able to do it during this
he was
time.
doing both.
He was doing Vinnie Barbarino and Saturday Night Fever and then Grease right afterwards, and then eventually got out of it.
And he got his Oscar nomination right before this movie comes out.
Right.
He did not win. I forget who he lost to. But he was also, according to my sources, otherwise known as Wikipedia, he was in the top 10 music charts around the time this movie came out for his song Let Her In.
Which is like literally right over there.
There is an LP of
we're
Let Her
pointing
In
to an LP.
sitting right across
Let Her In.
Right.
from us.
I had the album and I loved it.
Yeah.
He's just a triple threat at this time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And only upwards to go.
Yeah.
Right? So we'll
Definitely.
see.
Yes.
Definitely. So yeah, as we filled in the cracks, John Travolta, who is hitting like a sprint start of a career with the beloved Devil's Reign, as Jeff has mentioned.
It's such a good movie.
It's not a good movie. And then going to Carrie 1976 in the small role that he was in, and then into his, I would say, like first ever like on-screen main protagonist performance being The Boy in the Plastic Bubble. Jeff has his own thoughts on that.
And Boy in the Plastic Bubble was a TV movie.
It was a TV movie.
It was a
Yes.
TV movie.
It was a TV
But that's
movie.
why it starts with just in the middle of like a scene.
Yep.
Because they had to fit that 90 minutes exactly.
Yep. And then like his first feature film main acting role, he gets his Oscar nom for. And then all of this in the meantime, he's on Welcome Back,
Yeah.
Kotter
And then he goes off and makes one of the biggest hits of all time in Grease,
and Grease,
which it was indeed.
I think to this day it's the number 8 top grossing musical of all
Yes.
time.
Wow.
We'll get into that at the end. I have like some facts about like the impact this movie had and what follows up.
Yeah.
But going back to how it was made and all that fun stuff, it's directed by Randall Kleiser, as we said, who did The Boy in the Plastic Bubble. So they're collaborators. John Travolta brought him on because he really enjoyed working with him. He brings on Kelly Ward from Boy in the Plastic Bubble into this. And he had actually previously played Duty in a stage production of Grease. So he was attached to the material. He cared about it, and he was excited to make a movie adaptation.
Yeah.
And
That's cool.
yeah, and Olivia Newton-John plays Sandy in it.
She was kind of old, right?
30.
Yeah, she was significantly older than.
She was 30 years old. John Travolta was 24.
Which is, it's funny because she looks the right age,
She does.
but
Yeah.
he looks older.
we had this conversation about Carrie, right? Where who was the actress name that played Carrie?
Sissy Spacek?
Yes. Thank you. Like she's significantly older than a high schooler, but looks like a high schooler. Same with Olivia
Everybody in
Newton-John.
Greece looks like they're like 40. Is that true?
Yeah, I was gonna say there
this
are plenty of examples that they don't look like they're in high school. Like who is the guy in particular? He literally looks like he is like in 40 or 50.
Yeah, like I forget, the guy wears the sunglasses. I believe that's Duty. That's Duty, right?
I
With
think
the
it is
black hair?
Judy. Barry
Yeah.
Barry
Judy.
Pearl. Yeah.
He looks like he runs like a pizza shop and
Yeah.
like downtown Manhattan. It looks like you would go up and be like 2 slices.
They
and
do say the film
slap
like,
him
when they get out of the car after Kinnicky and Riz drive off. It's like, let's go get some pizza.
True.
No, it's not just pizza. Let's go get a slice of pizza. Back then, you would just get a slice.
Yeah.
That's it.
New York.
Yeah.
Where is this movie? Does anybody?
Well,
I believe it's Los Angeles.
I thought it was Los Angeles too because they were. Well, where are there beaches very much in New York?
It was filmed in Leo Carrillo State Park, so Los Angeles.
Okay.
Ahoya to Leo Carrillo.
Yeah.
Down to Ahoya.
Gotcha.
That was, yeah. But Olivia Newton-John's cast in the movie. John Travolta is fairly insistent upon her performance, even though she had never really been a major actress before.
And she was very concerned about it too.
Yes. They had to rewrite the role to her being Australian because she could not do an American accent.
Oh, but I have thoughts on that though, which we'll get to later. But
Yes, and it leads to a very big leap of logic in why she's here right now.
Yeah. Well, not just that. It's just there is a moment because her accent's like subtle there throughout the whole movie.
But no, her accent's definitely not subtle.
It's there.
It's very
but
Australian.
No, I just mean
all the time.
There was a scene. I even wrote down the minute mark when it happened, but it was
Crikey, some shrimp on the barbie and all that.
It was after stranded at the drive-thru. It was after the drive-thru scene, after the mechanic shop, after Rizzo and Sandy are talk. Sandy's accent's like it goes from a 5 to a 15 out of 10 in terms of like Australian.
Is she talking to Riz?
Yeah, she's talking to Riz at towards the end, and this is like
When they have that little moment
yeah,
together?
yeah. And this is before Riz sings a song about her own like fears and doubts and stuff.
Yeah.
It's before that, and her accent's like really strong at that moment.
Yeah.
So
I'm trying to think. What is she saying to her?
I don't
Like
remember.
if she needs a friend or something like that.
Yeah, because this is after like the pregnancy thing came about.
the
So she's like kind of feels like
Whereas if you need a friend, I got kangaroo.
kangaroo.
That was a British accent. I'm sorry to all our Australian listeners that I've besmirched your good country. Fun fact, though, before we actually get into talking about the movie, I actually met one of the writers of this once. I was working at a college bookstore, and they were in the NCAA championship, so we were selling a lot of like basketball T-shirts. And he came in and bought a shirt. And he was like, "Yeah, I wrote Grease." During the conversation, I'm like, "Oh
my God."
And then I was like, "This guy's probably like BSing me." So I look up a picture of him, and there he is.
What was his name?
That's the problem, is I can't remember.
Well,
I'm genuinely struggling to figure out.
well, because this particular moment, there are lots of people who you could have said I wrote Grease,
Yes.
and you could have been among these like 6 people because there's the writers of the original musical, there's the writers of the original lyrics, there's the writers of like the music, there's the writers of the screenplay adaptation. Like
I did confirm at the time his picture popped up when I looked at Grease, and it was related to the movie.
okay, so maybe
But the 4
screenwriter.
guys I'm looking at on this IMDb writers page don't look like him. And I can't remember what he looked like. So just know that I did meet the writer of Grease. It was cool, and I've now forgotten.
Questionable, I have to say.
Very
I mean,
questionable.
I
think Jeff's
I'd
trying
like
to
to
lead us
really
on
believe
here.
you, Jeff Sweeney, but
Yeah.
I found my Facebook post from the time where
Yeah.
I said, I just met the writer of Grease.
and that was all that was said.
That was all that he put in his
See, this
Facebook
is
post.
what I wish I had mentioned his name.
How many years ago was this, Jeff?
I think it's mid 2018.
Okay, you seem to struggle a little bit for that. Mid 2018, you got a month there, pal.
Is
Maybe?
this what I'm about to be exposed for? I
think are there writers like?
There's going to be a congressional subcommittee about me lying about being the writer of Grease.
Did you not say on February 15, 2021 at 1:47 p.m. that you met one of the writers of Grease in mid 2018 at a bookstore during the NCAA?
Lindsey Graham's roasting me up on the stage.
Yeah.
Hey, here it is, March 30th, 2018. I just met the guy who wrote Grease.
Just the
And
guy.
You commented, actually.
I was just going to say,
Yeah.
I'm sure I commented.
You commented, "Oh, that's cool, baby. You know how it is, rocking and rolling and whatnot."
Wow.
I can't take myself.
Jeff, would you say that was the highlight of your
Professional career. Yes.
career? Yeah.
I've worked on some cool things, but meeting the writer of Grease and when he was buying basketball T-shirts
It was pretty
was
amazing.
definitely the highlight.
Yeah. So the plot of Grease.
Yeah, so Grease. It is the word.
It is the word.
Yes.
Yes, definitely.
And there's a lot of things to talk about with Grease.
Lots.
But
of
the
things.
thing that just really catches me is just how fun it is. Like,
Yeah.
any criticism I could have is just like, it's so much fun though. Like, I can't be mad at this. This is too good.
Yeah. It something that this brought me back to like my high school musical days. Not High School Musicals in like the actual movie, but like when I was in high school, I was in like
You were in High School Musical, believe it or not.
spring musicals like every like spring semester there, and so like watching this like every single dialogue scene that would then just like break out into song instrumental because like in like modern musicals like I think of like La La Land, but sorry, I have opinions.
Yeah.
But it was like the subtle transitions that would
City
just
of
like
stars,
that would transition into
are you shining just for me?
song and dance. Whereas in
City
Grease,
of stars.
thank you, Jeff. Whereas in Grease, there is no subtlety to it whatsoever. It is just like It's like, so what did you do this summer? And then
just like
starts. And then Summer Lovin' at the 14-minute mark starts, and it's just all right.
Yeah.
Like it's time to do a song now.
It's the best. Like you're just watching and you're like, oh, this is a good scene. And then boom, the song just starts. We're singing.
Yep.
And we love. I mean, that soundtrack was
it's-
like the sound, not the soundtrack of my life, but for a while. I mean, that's all you heard on the radio, and we just. It was a great soundtrack.
Yeah.
It's still so fun to listen to. Yeah.
Do you remember where you saw Grease or?
I don't. Probably Ford City, maybe on the south side.
Gotcha.
Probably. Oh, yes, definitely. What am I thinking? Absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah, and then my basement for the next 100 times.
Yeah. What's interesting about the soundtrack of Grease is probably most people probably know in terms of trivia for Grease is Hopelessly Devoted.
Most people probably know about trivia for Grease. Get this guy over here.
Yeah, most people probably know this, but like Hopelessly Devoted, which was like Sandy's solo in terms like towards like the end of the first act of the film, was actually added after the movie was already like shot.
Really?
But the producers were like, she needs a ballad solo. Like she doesn't have like a full ballad solo, so. Her contract allowed for them to like go back and reshoot that really quick, and so they got it, and that was the only song to then be nominated for an Oscar.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah, they do that a lot now with for more cynical reasons for musical movies where they'll bring people in to write a new song for it just so that it can be eligible for the Oscar for Best Original Song.
Yeah,
because like obviously if it's in the stage musical they can't nominate it because it's existed. We probably won a Tony.
And Hopelessly Devoted became one of the most popularized cover songs on TikTok.
Interesting.
Yep. It's the guy. I'm trying to think of it. I need to think of the TikTok artist
I
name.
mean, with how fast trends fly on TikTok, this is probably the most irrelevant fun fact in 2 weeks. In like the 3 weeks of this episode.
But this guy has like 200 million views on TikTok, which is outrageous. But it's like he uses this like vocoder thing that you can like. I don't know. It's really weird, but he does Hopelessly Devoted cover. I'd recommend people look it up. Hopelessly Devoted TikTok cover. You won't be disappointed.
Google it. Comment in whatever thing you're watching it on to say, "Hey, I was brought here by the Travolting podcast."
Yeah,
link people to our Spotify, Apple Music, Google Podcast.
Please say you were brought here by the Travolting podcast. We would be very thankful.
Be one of those people who goes into YouTube and be like, "Who's watching this in the year 2021?" As brought here from the Travolting podcast.
Yeah. So should we start from the top?
Yes.
The very beginning.
So we start with the beach flashback.
The beach flashback.
The beach.
Starts with a nice beach flashback with a similar soundtrack to a David Lynch movie.
It's a little haunting, but
you got it. I mean, yeah, it's very similar though.
But it's very romantic.
Yeah.
It's Sandy and Danny Zuko, our boy, hanging out on the beach, having a little bit of summer lovin'. If I may be so bold as to say.
And
in his nice blue jacket, right?
Oh, yeah.
Not the leather.
Not the
Blue
leather
jacket.
yet.
Yeah.
Because he's a real man at this point instead of what he's posturing to be.
Right.
Right.
When he's a tough guy with the dudes being dudes.
The dudes being dudes. And they embrace, and they're about to leave each other. And Sandy's like, "Is this the end?" And Danny coincidentally just says, "No, this is only the beginning," not knowing what's going to transpire in the next hour and 50 minutes.
She's like, "No, is this the end?" And he's like, "No, there's an hour and a half left of the movie."
I don't think they did that, Jeff. And then we go into this. Then we go into the animated intro.
Yes, which is so fun.
It's a very definitely eye opener when you're watching a musical here. So like, all right, this will be like a nice little live action musical. But then there's animations.
We're blasting Grease is the word.
Yep.
Over images like it's just kind of a cultural summary touchboard of the 50s. It's like I Like Ike, Davy Crockett pops up. There's hula hoops. However, I will say that some of the caricatures they use for these actors are a little bit of an insult.
Yeah.
Like Rizzo and Danny Zuko are looking a little rough in those caricatures.
Yeah.
I would not be happy if I were those actors and I saw that. It's like, this is how they see me.
Yep. And then we get into the high school.
Yes. So we've been told Grease is the word, and we're going to enter the hour and a half dissection into that statement.
Yes.
But we're at the high school. Danny Zuko is a greaser now. He's no longer a nice young lad.
He's got the leather.
And he makes that turn, like they say, they call his name, and he turns, and he's so cute.
Oh, there's that. Yeah,
He
there's
does.
the great where he turns around.
He turns around and
Hey,
flashes
Zuko.
the hair.
Right.
Oh, we didn't talk about hair yet.
Oh, you guys are rating the hair.
Every podcast
I heard
we
that.
rate the hair.
I heard that.
I love that this is catching on as a trend, Jeff, that we rate the hair.
You rate the hair.
Yeah, but
I'd
everyone's
listen.
wanting the hair rating. So, well, first off, Cathy,
Yes.
are you a short hair Travolta or a long hair Travolta gal?
I like either one.
Okay.
Okay. I mean, the long hair is like the Vinnie Barbarino, like, was he Carrie? He
Yeah.
was long hair in Carrie, which was very
Carrie,
nice.
Boy in the Plastic Bubble long hair.
Yeah. Maybe I'm a long hair Travolta.
I'm definitely
yeah,
a long
I think
hair
maybe
Travolta.
I'm a long hair.
I think long hair Travolta is who you have summer loving with, and then
Yeah.
short hair Travolta is who you bring home to mom.
Right.
yeah.
That's absolute. I don't know. I might actually flip those. I'd bring long hair Travolta home
Really?
to mom. Do
You know-
summer loving with short hair Travolta.
You know,
So I want long hair Travolta for the long ride. He's with me forever.
the two Travoltas are that saying about the two wolves that are always fighting inside of you. It's the two Travoltas.
But yeah, so with this movie, like he does have a little bit of floof.
Yeah.
A little bit of grease, got the comb.
Are you
over.
saying
He's got that 50s
Grease
thing
and
going
grease.
on. Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, they squirt the thing and they make
Yeah.
it all greased up. But I gotta say that the fluffy, just the bounce on the shoulders and Boy in the Plastic Bubble, it sells me every time.
I have been calling my son because he's got his quarantine hair and won't get a haircut, Vinnie Barbarino.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like
But see, he might take that as a compliment and not want to get it cut then.
true.
Yeah.
I have to watch that
Because I would take that as, if I was told that I looked like long-haired John Travolta,
you would never get a haircut.
I would never get a
Yeah.
haircut.
Why would you? I know. Okay. I've got to work on this.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to get him to get a haircut, so that's not
you
working.
gotta find some really atrocious look from a movie.
Yeah.
Just be like, you look like this.
But I only say this just because I know it's probably going to be controversial, but I have to say that long hair Travolta, whether that be Boy in the Plastic Bubble or Carrie, beats Danny Zuko hair. I'm sorry. I'm going to say it. I just...
Oh boy, he said it.
I said it.
said
You're
it.
being brought before the
Are
congressional
we
subcommittee.
cutting this part out? No.
It would be my job to cut it out.
Oh, that's right.
Like,
I like both of them. I know I should pick a side, but I agree. Long hair Travolta's very cute.
There-
But
there's a place for
Danny Zuko.
centrism in the Travolta hair community, I think.
well, wait till you get to Saturday Night Fever. It's a big thing about his hair.
Right. Yeah.
So this is going to be, you guys are going to have lots to talk about with his hair because he doesn't want his hair touched, and he's real serious
we
about
had
that.
We actually had that conversation about, because there was a bit in that movie where like a character touches his hair. He's like, "Watch the hair."
Yeah, right,
And like that was improv. Like
Was that improv?
or like I think it was an actual genuine reaction that Travolta had, and like the
John Badham.
John Badham. Director actually kept it in the movie because it fit, the
character.
fit the character pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tony Manero.
Yeah. I worked so hard on my hair. You touch my hair. He's like, yeah, it's a good part.
You heard it here. Producer co-host agrees that long hair Travolta is better than Danny Zuko. I'm not taking it back.
You don't have to take it back. I'm Team Danny Zuko.
Oh, look it.
I like.
So cute.
I'm bringing up pictures right now.
Yeah. Sorry. I'm like, oh, look it. It's a podcast. You guys told me it's a podcast.
There will be for anyone listening on Spotify or YouTube, there will be an image attached to this episode that you can look at for confirmation. I'll give you 1 second right now to do so. All right, you've looked at John Travolta's hair in Grease at this moment. If you were driving, I hope you did not just grab your phone and look at it.
Hey Siri, look up John Travolta,
Travolta's hair.
1978.
It's just more like a wig
my
kind
phone
of thing.
actually did look up John Travolta, 1978.
But I'm Team Danny's. I just am a big fan of like 50s aesthetic and look.
Yeah.
So when I see John Travolta's hair in this and he's got that Elvis vibe, it's just what I'm cooking with.
Yeah.
I did a greaser costume once when I was very young, probably like 10, 11.
So you've just been leading to this, haven't
Yes,
you, Jeff?
my entire life has
Yeah.
been
High
a
school.
pyramid building up to Travolting.
Right.
And now I can only go down from here.
That's okay.
It's fine.
Yeah. So we're at the high school.
Yes, we're at the high school.
High school. There we go.
What moment are we at in this episode recording?
We are at 30 minutes.
Okay.
We've been doing this for 30
We just started the podcast.
We are 3 minutes into the episode, into the movie.
And 30 minutes of the podcast.
So we're just at the high school.
Yeah, but
We're
yes,
just at the high
Okay.
school.
by that like multiplication, we'll be
We'll be
to the
done
end
in
of the
about
movie in
4 hours.
12 hours.
So we're meeting all the characters right
Yes.
now.
Yes.
At least the guys.
Yeah. And immediately I'm getting like, oh, they're all 30 playing high schoolers.
It's like a 30-year-old dude.
Yeah. But it is like, so we almost get, the audience gets told right away that Danny and Sandy are in the same school. Like almost right away, like you see them kind of like cutting from different angles,
true.
and certain characters interacting with different characters that we've seen before. So it's something that they're telling the audience already, so it's bound to happen. And that's where I really love the scene with Rizzo. And it's like, hey, Danny, I got a surprise for you. And then it's like,
Yeah.
and you, because she knows, and we as the audience know. That's why I love Rizzo. It's like, this is about to crash land. It's going to be amazing. So,
And Sandy's so excited to see him again.
Yeah.
And he's trying to posture and be all tough for his boys. Be like, yeah, I may have seen it now. I don't recognize it that much.
yeah.
I'm like straddling the Stallone line right now.
I was
Yeah.
just about. I was thinking that, Jeff. I said, when was Sylvester Stallone in?
Yeah.
I did real good last night. You should have seen me.
Yeah, but we're getting
I'm
introduced
so
to,
sorry,
like,
everyone listening.
we're getting introduced to the greaser gang.
Yeah.
We're getting introduced to the pink ladies, and we're getting like all of the different. I love the high school teachers and principals and coach like
Yeah.
stuff.
They're so funny.
Just because they're the only adults in this movie. Like, you notice there are no parents in this
Yes.
movie.
True.
We don't see Danny's parents. We don't see Sandy.
No.
Like, what was, not to jump to the end, but what was Sandy's like dad doing reading the newspaper when Sandy walks down in the black leather? It's like going to the carnival and like so gonna see. And it's like, okay, all right, cool. Like, there's no reaction to that. So at any rate, that's why I love the high school teachers and principal.
I
figures.
like with Sandy at the beginning when she's like just trying to meet people at the school and she's introduced to the pink ladies and Rizzo. I like that the detail that like her parents like took him on vacation to America for the summer and just decided to stay.
They just stayed.
They're like, yeah, I don't feel like going home. Like,
The way how that's written off is our plans have changed.
because like at the end of the summer she's thinking she's going home and they're like, no, we're just staying in America.
We had
You
to
know.
change of plans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And imagine like Sandy's was a senior, I think, right? Like she's transferring as a senior to
Yeah.
this high school. So admittedly, she probably had like a lot of friends back at her Australian high school, a lot of family there. So it's like, this is also very,
she get rid of her pet dingo. And
yeah. This all has to be very traumatizing for Sandy.
her school bus driver, the kangaroo.
Yeah. And so at that point, that's when you know,
Crocodile Hunter was.
You're not looking for any Australian followers, right, Jeff?
No.
If you're an Australian, you're listening to this podcast. I'm sorry for my insults to your country, but you are your own stereotype, and I regret nothing.
So as all these characters getting introduced and we get the different exposition of how each of them are related to each other, for instance, we get like an idea Riz and Danny have a history as well. And then we're getting more of these like cliques. But then the 14-minute mark, Summer Lovin', first song comes on.
They had a blast.
They had a blast.
Happened so fast.
We're
Met
gonna
a
get-
girl.
Wait. We're going to get copyright.
Oh,
Copyright strike.
This is fair use policy
Fair
in
use.
subsection 27C of the United States Constitution.
You did not look that up to know.
I could look it up. I'm like that dude in.
I think we could read lyrics. We just can't actually sing it on
yes,
mic.
we cannot play the.
We cannot
song.
play.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, it's too
copyright.
bad. I was
Yeah.
What if we made?
Planning
What if
on
we
that.
made a song called "Winter
sorry.
Loving" and we attached to this podcast?
Winter Loving.
Yeah, it's about a bunch-
Arctic Blast.
That's good.
Thank you.
Winter Loving, Arctic Blast. It's about a bunch of people.
Polar vortex. That's been so fast.
It's about a bunch of people staying inside and not engaging in loving because it's too cold. Chicago winter.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But-
we're recording this on the day of like a big blizzard.
It's
So
been,
we're manifesting right now.
yeah. But what's really interesting about Summer Lovin' that I really like, but talk more about it is like the filmmaking aspects of it, because again, immediately everybody's dancing. It's not just
Yeah.
like the
Right.
single characters. It's like everybody's in on the choreography and the dance, and it's just something that I really, really.
Yeah.
You already know immediately. It's like, okay, this is not like grounded in superficial reality. We're going to get a little bit crazy here sometimes. And, you know, it just builds up and builds up until the very end.
Yeah, it's building this reality of the world where someone will just start singing and everyone around them's like, time to go.
Yep.
Like this like Footloose world.
Yeah.
Where everyone just sings and dances.
What is that thing they do now where everyone just like starts dancing?
Flash mob.
Flash mob. Yeah.
Flash mob.
Yeah.
We need to do a Grease flash mob with Summer Loving.
You could do that, Jeff.
I'll come.
Let's stage it. Let's set it up as a Travolting inspired event.
That'll be like one big Travolting podcast at the very end, just fireworks and a sign of
Yeah,
Travolting.
and then when we're brought before the congressional subcommittee about the riot we started because of the flash mob of Summer Loving.
Were you watching the impeachment? Is that why this congressional subcommittee is being brought up?
I just keep thinking about reasons we could be dragged before them.
Or Godfather 2. Were you watching Godfather 2?
Maybe. So yeah, Summer Lovin'. It's great.
Something I like about this movie that you don't get too much in. I mean, I don't want to say that, but it's cool that this movie uses a lot of long takes. Mm-hmm. Like, there's not a lot of cutting, especially in the musical numbers, which is something they did in Saturday Night Fever as well.
Yeah,
where it lets you just see the dance and see the performances in their full extent instead of just cutting from one camera to the other all the time.
Yeah,
and giving this like false vision of what's happening. You can see the dancing, and it makes it that much more impressive.
Yeah,
and see that they're singing.
Yeah, I mean, not to go back again to Saturday Night Fever, but it's like that, you know, when John Travolta like arguing to have like wider angle shots to show that he was actually doing it. I wonder if there was like a similar discussion about that for this film, but this was definitely dubbed though. Like this wasn't.
Oh yeah, they definitely overplayed it.
Yeah, definitely.
This is not Les Mis where Russell Crowe is.
No,
really just
staying clear from this. Staying clear from this. No, stop. I know we're.
President Travolta's on. Your time is up and your morale's begun. You know what that means. Yes, means I'm free.
Cathy, this is every time we bring up Les Mis or Russell Crowe. I knew we were going to come down here.
Follow to the letter yard.
All right, so after Summer Lovin', I mean,
off topic.
Cathy, do you
Russell,
have
we
something
love
to say about
you.
Summer Lovin'?
I know you're a New Zealander instead of an Australian, so you're cool with me.
Summer Lovin'. What can I say about Summer Lovin' that you guys haven't said? Well, it's fun. I mean, you just, I loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun. It's like you get to see all the characters and they're, I don't know.
Yeah.
Help me.
One thing I wanted to speak to, like narratively, is the differences in what their testimonials are. So with Sandy, it's all like warm, cute, and fuzzy.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
As the Wikipedia synopsis of this movie describes it. Sandy's version emphasizes the romance of the relationship, while Danny's version is more sexual.
Yeah.
And
that's it.
That's about
thanks
it.
to whoever wrote the Wikipedia Grease article for that insightful comment.
Yeah.
But like I said, again, you guys I was so young when I watched this. I'm trying to think. I might have been, so I was born in 67. It was 78, right?
Yeah.
11
years old.
So I'm probably not getting that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just like watching John Travolta, and I'm probably not getting all that until I get a little bit older. You know,
it's playing off a lot of that 50s stuff where there was, I don't want to say censorship, but there was more. There was a higher level of standards in terms of what you could put into a movie or whatnot.
Yeah.
So there'd be an added level of innuendo, where for a kid who's watching it, it just is fun poppy songs.
Yeah.
right?
It's exciting. Everyone looks cool. But then to the adult in the room, you know, there's lines like, you know, had me a cramp, got myself damp, or it means something else. I mean,
Right.
the kid, it's just like, oh, they got wet. They were on a beach.
Yeah.
And I don't think I got like shy of that until I got older.
Yeah.
And like maybe watched it with my parents or something. But prior to that, I just wasn't getting that. And even when you guys say that they looked older, like they looked like 30-year-old like high school kids to you, I was young. So they didn't look like that to me.
Yeah.
Because they just look like
Grown-ups.
Right. They just look like grown-ups.
And to that age, a teenager is a grown-up.
To me, at 11 or 12 years old.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
so I'm just trying to think of like being young and watching it. You know, now I've had so many different experiences, but
it's a movie that grows with you over time and gives you a new experience every time you watch it.
Yeah.
definitely.
which brings me to something that I did not realize when I first watched it, which is the scene afterwards when they have their pep rally outside.
Oh, and there's the
burning effigy of the gladiator in the middle, and their cheerleaders are doing circle dances around it, and they're all like holding sides, like tear them up, beat them apart, and literally I wrote down like because it's like a 7-season slump that's going to be brought out of it by Coach Calhoun. Okay, and I wrote down an interesting cult-like pep rally where they're dancing around a burning effigy of their opponent.
Yeah, I watched it with my girlfriend, and I was just like, "Is that a hanging man?"
Yep.
And she was like, "It's a bonfire. Haven't you ever been to a bonfire?" And I'm like, "No, look to the left of the bonfire." And she's like, "Oh, there's just a hung gladiator."
And then later in the film, that hung gladiator's in the bonfire. It's in the bonfire.
I never noticed that.
And the coach is saying at like the pep rally, it's like, we're gonna tear them up and rip them to pieces. And like the principal's like clearly like out of facial expression, but I did not.
Yeah.
Is the secretary there too?
I think
Is she just like
The principal,
ripping them apart with her face? Yeah, she's funny.
She's like egging them on.
The principal's the one who has the line where she's like, "It's so great to see our clean-cut, wholesome students," and like pauses between wholesome and students when they see like the chaos that's going on in this bonfire.
Yeah. And this is also the same period when we get the Danny Sandy reunion.
Yeah, they get the reunion.
Great scene.
It's set up, and Danny kind of blows it.
Yeah, he starts off strong.
He starts off strong.
Oh my God.
He's like, "Sandy, it's great to see you."
And then he turns around and like,
And he's like,
well, his buddies are there, right?
"She's some girl,
girl. Yeah. And it is all.
And Jeff goes back into his Sylvester
Yeah.
Stallone.
Let me tell you.
Let me tell you
File missing persons report. It's like,
John's at the
you're
yellow
a different
papers.
person. So we took out a page of the yellow pages.
Well, I do not know.
Well, I do not know.
So good. Well, I do not know.
And then Frenchie is telling Sandy, who is obviously torn apart about this, that men are rats. No, men are lower than rats. They're the fleas on rats. No, they're lower than that. They're the amoebas on rats.
The only man a girl can trust is her daddy. Yep.
Yep.
I love Frenchie.
Frenchie's great.
Frenchie's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get to that. That part always kind of creeped me out for some reason.
The beauty school dropout.
Yeah, I don't know why. You just have these like things. It's like
these figures
I
emerging.
think I was confused during that. I was like, what are these?
That would be the one song, like, of all the songs that would, like, read to a kid as, like, oh, like, you may not be getting the adult humor jokes, but it's still, like, really fun. Beauty School Dropout is like, why are they singing this song? Like, is she, like, beautiful or something? Or, like, are they saying shit? Like, you just don't know. It's like, if you're not paying close attention to the dialogue, how, like, she goes from high school to, like, beauty school,
Right.
and then how she's not doing well, it's like, it could completely just, boop, go right over your head.
Yeah,
That's true.
I was curious because I felt like I recognized Frenchie. I was like, she's in something I've seen before.
Mm-hmm.
And then so I went to her IMDb and like her top 3 credits are Grease, Grease 2, and Grease Live. I was like, okay, I probably have not seen this actress in a movie before.
That's it?
Yeah. I mean, she'd been in other things, but like nothing I'd seen. But her like most notable stuff is Grease.
Remember
Grease 2,
when
and
Michelle
Grease Live.
Pfeiffer was in Grease 2?
Oh,
And her career was not impacted, like, at all.
I have a sister-in-law that hopefully she'll be listening to this, who loves Grease too. And yes, the eyes are getting big, Mary Mucker. And it's like, no. I mean, so I think I've never even seen it.
That's probably good.
Yeah.
One of these days, we're going to do a podcast called Untravolting, where we watch all the bad sequels to the movies we're covering.
Well, that probably will be as, like, a year long.
I mean, as of now, we have The Rage, Carrie 2.
That's right.
There was Bubble Boy, which was a new adaptation of The Boy in the Plastic Bubble.
I think you're stretching the limits on this podcast.
There was, Grease 2. We'd have to cover Staying Alive again.
Oh, God. Are you guys doing Staying Alive?
We are
We are doing
Yeah.
Staying Alive.
We are comprehensive. We're This is a fun fact for everyone. We will be recording an IMAX documentary about the moon. Because John Travolta voices an astronaut for like 5 seconds. So you have that episode to look forward to in the future. We'll be talking a lot about them lunar craters.
Oh, God. So,
you
back to Greece.
You know what detail I like with the principal and the secretary?
What?
Is the bells, like the chime that they do like by hand.
Yeah.
It's fun because like we associate that as like an automated thing where like they press a button and it just happens. But they had to like bring out the xylophone.
I like
actually
that.
do it.
Yeah, it's cute.
It's the 50s, man.
Yeah, welcome to the 50s.
Yeah.
So after the pep rally scene, Frenchie invites Sandy to come over to her house for a girls' night.
Sandy gets straight roasted.
She does get straight roasted. They make a
He
song
sang a whole song about her.
about roasting Sandra Lee.
It's like this poor girl has just moved to a new country and they're like,
Yeah.
look at me, I'm Sandra D.
But then like they're all making fun of her. Like they're all wearing wigs. And then she pops out and the only thing she has to say is, Rizzo, are you making fun of me?
Some people are so touchy.
Some people are so touchy. Yep. She didn't get touchy. She just asked it. Are you making fun of me?
Oh, they're trying to pierce her ears. They're making her drink and
smoke.
And that's around the time that she sings Push My Love. What's the song called?
Hopelessly devoted.
Hopelessly Devoted to You.
Yeah.
That's around the time when she sings that because Rizzo, Danny Zuko and his boys show up and Rizzo goes off with them.
Yeah.
Because she says she's trying to she's only young once. She's trying to just get as much summer loving in as she can.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
She goes off and Sandy's just walking sad,
Yeah.
but she realizes she still really loves him.
What's interesting about the girls' night scene is the differences in wardrobe
Yeah.
that they chose. Because obviously Sandy's in like a whole gown, like
Yeah.
neck to toe, and then all the other girls are just in like more comfortable attire. Like they're more, free about it. And Laura Sandy's like somebody, and I guess it's almost like Randall Kleiser planting the seeds early that like
Yeah.
she's gonna be changing her
Yeah.
personality towards the end, and that was like the first sort of
We're at the
idea
beginnings of
behind
the
that.
youth revolution
Yeah.
in the 60s where stuff like that
yeah,
kind of becomes more of the norm.
right. So
But one thing I really love is during Hopelessly Devoted to You when she looks at the puddle on the ground.
the Travolta
and John Travolta. And it's not even a
That's
reflection, it's just an image of him superimposed on the puddle.
It looks like a baby pool.
And he's just
it's like a kiddie pool
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah.
and he's just like,
He's making
I'm doing a face on for all the people who aren't watching
It's
me
good.
right now.
It's perfect, Jeff.
it's a good face. Yeah. It's like this movie didn't come out yet, but it's literally like the Lion King Mufasa appearing in
Yeah.
the water to Simba. That's basically what happens in this.
I mean, it's literally just remember who you are. Except instead of being the Lion King, he's becoming
John Travolta.
He's becoming just normal Danny Zuko.
Yeah. And he's like, remember who you are in love with.
What if there was a twist halfway through this movie and it turned out Danny Zuko was the king of some fun nation? And he has to return and fight his evil uncle Scar, and Timon and Pumbaa show up.
So moving on. Yeah, that was the 33-minute mark when Sandy's singing Hopelessly Devoted.
And there's also the 3-hour mark on this episode.
I was going to say, we've reached the 30-minute mark of the movie at the 47-minute mark of this episode.
We're catching up.
We're catching up. We are catching up. So, and not shortly after, and then obviously there's the Riz and Kinnicky, and they're necking in the car
Yeah, they're
on
necking.
the necking hill or whatever it is, and then there's the Scorpion Gang whole fiasco thing. Just a little.
Does that happen right then? Yeah.
That's like right after Hopelessly Devoted.
Okay.
Before the creme de la crop 39-minute mark, Greased Lightning.
Well, first something else happens though.
Oh, did I
John
miss
Travolta starts
something?
getting into sports.
No.
Isn't that?
No, that's
or is that
after.
after?
That's
That's
after
Oh, I
Grease
thought that was
Lightning,
before.
Yeah.
right?
Let's see. Yeah.
My notes are transcribed from a handwritten thing that I was just writing. all
Yeah,
over
because
the
it's
page.
Greased Lightning, and then there's a diner scene.
Yes,
And he goes to the diner scene to talk to Sandy, and Sandy talks about her boyfriend who is like this football
Yeah.
player, and then that makes him go to do
Okay.
sports.
So first Grease Lightning.
First Greased Lightning.
Yeah, which bops.
Bops.
Talk about a good time.
Best cinematic song, like in terms of how it was shot and the set design and just the choreography.
Yeah.
Just, I think it's like the best together. And again, it goes to show like, the first song, Summer Lovin', very grounded in reality, somewhat, besides the fact that it's a musical.
Right.
But it's just cutting between like the girls at the commons area and then the boys at the bleachers, and they're singing about their dates. But then each subsequent song gets a little bit more whimsical
Surreal.
and a little bit
Yeah.
more surreal. And then we're at the 39-minute mark. We're not even halfway through the movie yet. And it's like they're transporting to these like different.
We're in a dream world.
Yeah, we're in
watching
a
a bunch
dream
of dudes
world.
dancing.
Right.
I'm looking at picture. That's so much fun.
Yeah,
The car looks great too.
car looks fantastic.
So cool.
I mean, and this is still like a song they'll like play at the bars and
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
and I mean, do they do that still?
I mean, this is something that's on my Touch Tunes playlist.
Yeah.
Stuart and I've been banned from multiple bars for using Touch Tunes.
Yeah, so folks
Oh, no,
who are
I've not been
listening,
banned from the
and
actual
for Kathy,
bar, just the
like
touch tune.
we'll go when going to a bar was legal.
Yeah.
All of a year ago. Whenever there was a Touch Tunes like thing around, Jeff would like put on the most ridiculous songs that you could play.
Fun fact for anyone who is interested: there's a 20-minute long mix of Star Wars music available on Touch Tunes for only 2 coins that you can play at any bar.
And Jeff did.
I'm telling you, you could go to the most biker bar you find and play a 20-minute long mix. I think it's called the Battle of Yavin.
I thought it was the hallway grand like award ceremony scene at episode 4.
I think it's a medley. It's a mix.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
you can play it, and they will have to listen to it.
Oh,
20
gosh.
minutes long.
Wow.
And we were at a bar and he does this. This is in like Rogers, I think, one of our friends with us. There's a drunk guy at the bar, and every once in a while, as this 20-minute song is playing, he's yelling, "Star Wars!"
I also played All Star once at a bar 6 times in a row, and they kicked me out.
Out
Not out of the bar, out
it's
of the Touch Tunes.
Yeah, eventually they just turned the Touch
wanted
Tunes off.
really?
they
Yeah.
wanted my money, but they didn't want my music.
Yeah. None of this is
Anyway,
related
I
to
sound like a
Grease
real.
anyway.
No.
I sound like a great time at the bar, don't I? Don't I sound like the best person you could ever bring?
Yeah.
When it's not a moral and ethical dilemma to go outside.
Grease Lightning is a great song, folks.
Yes, Grease
Yeah.
Lightning.
It's shot very well, great choreography, and then the match cut transition at the end back to the old rusty
Yeah.
mechanic.
Yeah.
Really, really nice, really nice. And so then we're at the diner scene where all pretty much all
Grease
the pink
Lightning.
ladies are there, the T-Birds are there, and as well as Sandy with her date.
Right.
And so there's that little confrontation there.
I don't know if you guys noticed this, but during the diner scene, did you see that the back, like, there's a poster in the back of the bar? How dare you?
Sorry.
And it's like blurred out. There's like a blurred can and a blurred painting in the background. Like it's blurry in the movie. It's just like a complete square of blurriness.
Oh, they had to like wipe it out?
They put up Coke ads in the bar or in the cafe, but they never got permission.
Oh, wow.
So they had to like go in after and like scrub the film
Wow.
to cover it up, like frame by frame. So if you watch the movie, you'll see like the back of the bar, there's a poster, it's just like scrubbed over and it's just blurry.
I did not notice that at all.
Yeah.
Which means I did a great job doing that
Right.
then.
It's like if once you see it, you will never unsee it because it's so like obvious that it's just
Yeah.
like blurry.
Yeah.
Well, now for folks who haven't seen Grease
We
and
have
are going to watch it
ruined it
after
for
this, we've ruined the movie experience for them.
We have, and all the things we're ruining with this podcast. Your experience watching Grease is the newest.
Yes. So Danny and Sandy have that short little conversation as Sandy's picking out a song at the jukebox, and she's saying how, he's like a football player. And it's like, well, I can outrun him. It's like, I would like to see that.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's when we get this like series of Danny trying all these different sports.
Yeah.
It starts off with playing basketball, and Danny isn't very good with contact sports. With
Right. Right.
He's like,
right.
"Hey, my
yeah.
hair."
Yeah. Yeah.
punching the players.
So funny because he just slugs him.
Yeah, he's just straight up punching people. They try wrestling, and he's not very good at that either.
Punches
No.
people.
They
No, he
just
doesn't.
punches people again.
Right.
So he's trying to find the most contactless sport possible. Ends up on track, and that's when he's like trying to impress Sandy.
Yeah.
He's like running over the barriers, and then he falls. And then this is my one beef with the movie. So he runs over the barrier and falls, and Sandy, who's with her date,
Yes.
runs to him. It's like, Danny, are you all right? He's like,
Because
"Yeah, I'm
she's
all right."
hopelessly devoted to him.
Yeah. And the other guy's brains are in his biceps.
We had a whole
Yeah.
ass song establishing this.
Yeah. I mean, this guy.
I'm clearly in the wrong here.
I mean, like, who's this chump in the stands?
But it's just like, I don't know. At least be like, hey, I'll be right back. And then run to like
Hey, that would have made it okay for you.
that would have been okay. But just like literally she's right there with him and doesn't pay him any attention. It's just like, oh, Danny. And then the dude's like, I guess I'm no longer a person. And then
he's not a person. He's a device.
He's a device.
What's his name? His name is Tom.
Tom, right?
Tom. If
Right.
you're listening to this podcast, get out. we don't want you in here.
Wow, that's so mean to Tom.
Well, he belongs with Patty Simcox, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's
like,
his.
Oh, I missed this part.
No, I don't know if they end up together, but I always think they do. I've
Yeah.
made that up. I've put him with somebody. I want him to be happy too.
Yeah.
But just not with Sandy.
that's very kind.
What if he
Yeah.
actually like got into Harvard? Like, what if he's really smart?
You know, Tom's
He
very
probably
successful.
did.
He's gonna be the main character of Grease 3.
There is no Grease 3, Jeff.
Oh,
You gotta
they're
let it go.
making it.
Oh.
I have a pitch for Grease 3. I'm going to say at the end of this episode.
I'm looking forward to it. I have
am
a
too.
few
I think
theories.
it's going to be called Grease the Return.
Let's keep talking about it so you have plenty of time to talk about
Yes.
that pitch.
on hour 17.
On hour 17 of this podcast. We're on 50 minutes right now.
If you folks have just started listening to this episode, by the time you finished, it will be the 2024 presidential election.
yes. So they quickly make up pretty quickly, which I don't know. Maybe that's fine because she's hopelessly devoted. Whatever.
Yeah, she's hopelessly devoted. She runs over, and that's when he asks her to the drive-through?
To the dance.
To the dance.
But they don't go to the dance right away. They go to the diner.
yeah.
Yes.
And that's where he immediately is like holding.
Yeah, he sees
holding up
his
jacket,
friends. He doesn't want to be seen with
putting
her.
up the menus.
He doesn't want to be a square.
And
Right.
he's just like, I'm not really hungry. Get me like a double cheeseburger and an ice cream and something all this,
Right.
everything on it.
He's like, I'm not hungry. Just give me everything.
Yeah.
And that's when she asks him for tea.
I don't like tea.
Yes, exactly. I don't drink tea. Yeah,
I just
don't
want you to
drink
meet
tea.
my parents.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like
Like-
parents.
This is actually the second movie in a row where John Travolta said he doesn't like tea. He's in Saturday Night Fever. He says,
I don't drink tea. Oh, yeah.
he says, I like coffee. I drink coffee.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't remember that.
What if we realize from this point on every movie he says he doesn't like tea? It's just
Roll back the tape.
he's got a
Roll back the tape.
He's had like a 40-year-long beef with
Tea.
with tea.
We get him in like a guest appearance on a podcast for like his most latest, greatest movie. And we ask him face to face. So, like, Mr. Travolta, do you really not like tea?
We give him a cup of tea and he just slaps it to the floor and punches me in the
This is
face.
the most unprofessional set I've ever been on. Yeah.
John, come on the podcast if you're listening.
I love it. Love
Um,
it. So, yeah, they go to the diner. He's acting all different, and then he's ordering everything. Frenchie has pink hair,
Yeah, Frenchie has pink hair now.
Yep.
She had previously said she's dropping out of high school to go to beauty school.
but now.
Important thing to note.
Oh, yeah, we did kind of miss that.
Yeah.
But now, with her pink hair, she's about dropping out of
Yeah,
beauty
dropping out
school.
of beauty school.
Yeah.
Which leads us to the
'Cause she messed up her hair.
56-minute mark, which if I'm counting my mixer correctly, we are currently right at the
I gotta
runtime of the
gotta
movie.
slow this episode down.
Wow.
We're currently right at the runtime of the movie with the runtime of our
So
podcast.
anyone watch
episode.
Nomadland yet?
Stop. So the Frenchie song, which it's weird calling it Frenchie song. Wait.
We got to finish up the previous scene.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right.
We left at Danny Zuko's there eating a cheeseburger. No, he runs out
He does run out.
because Kaneki and Rizzo come over and sit at the table with them,
Yeah, that's right.
and
Yeah.
We missed a lot.
she's saying he's embarrassing him, or he feels like she's embarrassing him, and he just wants to get out of the situation.
Do you think that's why he leaves?
I think that's why he leaves.
I think he leaves because his friends are embarrassing him.
Yeah.
Again, maybe that's just me.
I mean, that's true. It actually, now that I think about it, I feel like it is partially also his friends are embarrassing him in front of Sandy.
Or he just can't have them two together
Yeah.
in one room. It's just like he can't.
Because
be
his
both
friends
those
are being
people.
pretty gross in that scene.
Yeah.
Like they're just like throwing food around
Yeah.
and like sharing. I don't remember specifically like sharing straws or
Yeah.
something like that.
Here's an easy solution: have different friends.
Get better friends.
Yeah.
Get
Danny
better
Zuko.
friends. You know, quite the easy solution
Yeah.
there. Roll credits.
But yeah, he runs out, and it's so infuriating in movies when people have food and then they just don't eat it.
Oh yeah.
It makes me so mad. Like,
My roommate has this thing with any alcohol on screen. When somebody ever like orders a drink or something and it's like still all the way
Yeah.
full and they walk away, and you're like, "What are you doing?"
it's like in no point in the history of humanity has someone ordered drinks and food and then like just they've either grabbed it and
one
taken
bite.
it with them, or at least eaten a little bit of it.
Yeah.
I just was watching. I wish I could remember who it was. It was an actor saying that they always make it a point to eat a little bit of their food.
Yeah.
I just can't remember who it was.
It's so important because
That's why we have the spit bucket.
yeah. Like
Right.
I understand as an actor sometimes like you don't want to just like do 20 takes where you're eating a cheeseburger. Like that might be a little fulfilling.
Yeah.
But you got to do it. Otherwise Danny Zuko just runs out and leaves a perfectly good double cheeseburger.
And yeah, his order sounded delicious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounded really delicious.
I would go to that diner and order that food.
Same.
I will
Same.
climb through my TV screen.
Speaking of climbing through your TV screen, Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah. Freddy Krueger's He's Back, baby.
You wanted to keep this episode long.
Nightmare on Grease Street.
Yeah.
Danny Zuko's haunted by Freddy Krueger.
Yeah. So when Danny leaves, then Riz and Kinnicky get into another heated argument, which is a little bit another important piece of trivia about this.
Oh, yes.
Was that they actually did a scene before this diner scene with specifically just Kinnicky and Riz, but they had to cut it out because what some crew members like testify as is they say like it was like a Martin Scorsese scene, meaning it was like dark, dirty. There was some physicalness to it. Like they get into this really heated argument. It gets crosses the line on a number of occasions.
Oh, wow.
And they just cut it because it's like this is not Grease at all. That they
No.
call it the infamous Martin Scorsese scene that wasn't in the movie.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah,
I'm
that
learning
happened.
stuff.
That happened before this diner scene.
Might have made the movie a little too real.
Well, that's why like when because you notice when you see Riz and Kinnicky enter the diner in this particular scene, they are already kind of at odds with each other, and that was partly like why for that reason.
It gets without that scene, you still get the point across.
Yeah, you
So
absolutely
it's
do.
probably good that
Yeah.
they cut that out.
So then she like slushes her milkshake all over Kinnicky. Some of it splashes onto Frenchie.
Right.
Then they all leave the diner.
And I think, is this like the scene where you kind of see who's with who? Pink Lady and T-Bird's like.
Yeah, who's linking
before
up with
that,
each other.
Yeah, right. I don't know if do we realize that before?
I feel like this is the one where it becomes like official.
It's starting to
with who.
become because you know
you
like
got to queue up for the dance and all that.
right. So then we get beauty school dropout.
Oh yeah, beauty school dropout.
Yeah.
Frenchie is in there. She's dropped out of beauty school.
It's interesting saying like this is like Frenchie's song when she doesn't sing hardly at all.
Oh, that's true.
She doesn't have a single line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a stairway to heaven opens,
Yep.
and a very like good cut man whose name I'm forgetting. What's his
Frankie
name?
Avalon?
That sounds right.
Yeah, Frankie Avalon is Teen Angel.
Yes.
Frankie Avalon just emerges from the sky.
Right.
And climbs down and just sings Beauty School Dropout about how she's, got to go back to high school.
Give up your dreams.
Give up your dreams.
Yep.
Yeah, this is like the only song I think for me that I'm like, this is far-fetched.
It's a little much.
like everything else seemed like completely normal. And this I'm like, this can't happen. This is far-fetched, but like, them flying off into their car seemed normal to me.
Yeah. Well, if I can get on a very deep narrative level here, this to me read as all of Frenchie's insecurities, like talking to her all at once into a way she can comprehend, which is everyone telling her inside her own head saying, you're not good enough for this. You need to drop out of beauty school. If she had like talked to somebody about it, it's like, no, you can do this. You can go to beauty school. You can be successful. Who knows?
Right.
Who knows what would have happened? But it's almost a tragic scene when you're watching it because it's just her own like little conscience telling her you're not good enough.
Yeah.
Her story and
So deep. I feel bad for her now.
Yeah.
So true.
Changing Grease.
her story and Rizzo's story and to a small extent Sandy's story all have like certain degrees of sadness to them.
Yeah.
There's some forlorn nature to this musical.
Yeah.
Where like it's about the 50s, but the 50s have passed and it's a nostalgia piece for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I'm trying to figure out because Frenchie is in the sequel. I'm just trying to figure out what her role in the sequel. No, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't.
Yeah, doesn't matter. So then, I don't know.
Yeah,
after that
she
scene,
drops out of beauty school. She is convinced by
her own subconscious.
And now are the little T-birds, are they like the flying angels at the end? Do you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I think some of them were the pink ladies, I think.
Oh, and the pink ladies are in there too.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So, yeah, she listens to her deep insecurities and drops out of beauty school. And
That's
then,
deep. That I've never thought of it like that.
Yeah, she's just talking to herself at that scene.
Yeah.
That's all it is to it. So Riz, this scene, this is when Riz and
Here's a hot off the presses fun fact. Otherwise known as probably been in the trivia section for a while. Elvis Presley turned down the role of the guardian angel in this scene.
Oh yeah, I did hear about that.
I mean, how old would he have been at this time?
He died a year after this film, didn't he?
Oh gosh.
Let's find out.
I don't think I would have liked that.
Oh yeah, he actually died when this movie was filming.
Yeah.
So it would have been his final performance had he agreed to it, but he didn't.
Dang.
I'm kind of glad he didn't.
It would have been.
Sorry, guys.
Frankie Avalon is like kind of the perfect amount of fame to him playing that.
Yeah.
Elvis would have been like very like, oh, it's Elvis. He's in this movie.
Elvis. Yeah. Yeah.
Beautiful dropout, hubba hubba. Oh, Hawaiian blue Christmas.
That's
Hubba
Jeff
hubba.
going from his Stallone to his Elvis impression.
I am a master of impressions.
Well, we're gonna have like 60. How many episodes?
66.
66 episodes of Jeff
We
doing
have to record
impressions.
61 more.
And every one of them was just like some Italian from Philadelphia.
Yeah, Jeff's gonna be like doing impressions in every single one, and we're gonna have a super fan that's just like making a combined cut of all of Jeff's
And by
impressions.
super fan, you mean me.
Yeah,
I can't wait until we get to the movie that we will not name at this point, 60-something from now. The magnum opus, of course. You know, the one I'm most looking forward to. Where he has a line where he's just like, hey, you got yourself some Caesar salad or meatballs. He just like starts listing Italian food in the middle.
so
That's the most Olive Garden ass movie.
all right. So after Beauty School Dropout, Riz and one of the other pink ladies, I think, is looking for dates to the dance.
Yes.
And they're having a hard
Jan.
time.
Hubba hubba.
Yeah.
No, not Jan.
No?
Marty.
I don't know.
It is. It's Marty.
I
It's
don't know.
Marty.
It makes
Yeah.
it up for me.
Yeah.
So Marty and Riz are looking for dates, and Riz goes with that like Scorpion Gang guy dude who looks like an evil bad guy.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, and it's soon after that we are at the dance. Mm-hmm. We're at this is like I think exactly the halfway mark of the movie.
I think it would be a little after.
I don't know. I think I actually like wrote down like the drive-in scene or something. You might be right actually.
The movie's 110.
150. Oh, 110. Sorry, 1 hour and 50 minutes.
Okay, I was gonna say you find this movie's 2.5 hours. long.
Yeah, no, it's 1 hour and 50 minutes. Yeah, I think you're right. The dance is a little over halfway through.
Yeah. But that's my biggest beef with this movie. Is my favorite song from Grease is "Those Magic Changes," and it is Sir not appearing in this film except for in the background of this scene.
Yep.
And
Oh no, I'm sorry, Jeff.
that is my favorite song from the Broadway musical and just the musical in general. And it only appears in the background of the scene, sung by Sha Na Na.
What
More like Sha
what is
No
that?
No.
Which
It's a good song.
it is.
It is a good song.
I believe Kaniki sings it in the stage show.
Yeah. Well, John Travolta probably didn't want to share the spotlight.
Those magic changes. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. You know, they probably wanted this movie to be of reasonable length.
Yeah.
And, you know, they condense a few songs just as Sha Na Na in the background of this scene, which is totally understandable, fine. I just can never forgive them for it.
I hate to say this, but I can't even remember. I know a lot of the songs from the dance. I can't even remember when that's played.
It's like right at the beginning. It's like, what's that playing on
Oh,
the radio?
yeah, that's great. Okay. Yeah.
Such a good song.
Yeah. Okay, that's a good one.
I'm like the corniest guy ever. I like doo-wop music and stuff like that. Yes.
You're not.
I believe it. I believe it. 100%.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No, that is a good one.
The biggest rift in my relationship is that I'll put like 1950s doo-wop on the car ride and she'll get so mad.
So what I really like about the dancing, obviously, is Travolta and Olivia Newton-John doing their thing. And what's interesting, it's like I just imagine there being a day on set when John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John are like, this is before take. They're setting up the lights and all. They're reading through the script and they're practicing their dance moves. And maybe someone's like, man, like, are you guys like nervous for this dance? He's like, I just got off Saturday Night Fever,
Yeah,
dude.
just
Right.
like this
It's
is
like
chump
nothing.
change.
this is
Right.
chump change
Yeah.
for me, man.
You know, if we're gonna rank our 3 dance scenes, between the Carrie dance scene, Saturday Night Fever, and Grease, what do you giving the title?
Well, Saturday Night Fever takes all.
Yeah, Saturday Night Fever gets the
Yeah.
Definitely.
it gets the gold.
Yeah, it gets the
Yeah.
gold.
What are you giving the bronze and the silver?
Well, remind me again the Carrie dance.
Yeah, I
It's
don't
that
remember
reason
this.
It's
alone.
literally the end of the whole end of the movie is at the dance.
Oh, but not John Travolta dancing.
No, he does not dance.
Oh,
But Carrie and whatever.
you're just talking about the dances in
yeah,
general.
just dances
Not
in general.
him
Like,
dancing.
Not
just
him
like the
dancing.
larger
Okay.
the larger event of the dance.
Well, that changes things then, because I would still say Saturday Night Fever gets the gold, but in terms of production design, Carrie
Carrie
gets
dance.
a silver, and the Ryland High dance broadcast Rydell, whoops, gets bronze.
So, did you even watch this movie?
I've been leading us through
Yeah,
this
you have.
whole lot.
He's
He has been.
literally the
But
one.
that-
He's literally the one with all the notes. I'm actually forgetting things and letting him kind of.
Yeah, literally.
But no, the dance in here is very cool. Shaman singing.
Yeah.
There's a competition.
Yeah.
Danny and
we get
Sandy are
Yeah.
dancing.
and we get
And,
Cha Cha and
Cha Cha coming in
Yeah.
Cha Cha.
with the hustle,
Yep.
blowing the relationship.
But can we just talk about the dance judge, Vince Fontaine, hitting on a high school student?
he's a
Yeah. Oh, he's so creepy.
Creepzilla.
He's like totally
creepy.
flirting with this
Yeah.
high school student, and he's like 40, and I'm like, oh, come
Yeah.
on, man. It's like, this shows its age a little bit.
Yeah. Definitely.
I mean, I think even this movie is like he's a little much.
Yeah.
he's a little much.
He is a little much, even back then.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they go through their game rules. The principal is talking about, like, in a few seconds, like, our high school will be broadcasted
Yeah.
to the entire nation. God help us.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah. And so they're going through the rules, and then pretty much, like, the way they're organizing this dance, I'm very confused by. Because it's like, and begin. And then it's like, oh, okay.
A bunch of people just start dancing.
They just start dancing, like,
And then I was like, the teachers are like tapping people out.
and
right?
tapping on the shoulder. And, if you get tapped, like, you're at risk for getting hit. Because every single couple that like, I think Vince Fontaine's the main person who taps people. Like, they always, like, go for, like,
Yeah.
a punch or something.
Yeah.
And he's, like, at risk of getting hit. And I'm like, just do his
The
job,
demons are
man.
ready to tussle.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So then the weird thing where it's like some random guy we've never seen before in the movie, to my knowledge, grabs Sandy, but then Cha Cha grabs Danny.
Yeah.
And then they finish their dance together and win. But it's like,
Right.
And they hand jive because they're born to hand jive.
Right.
yeah. But like, was there like some collaboration between Cha Cha and whoever that random dude was? It's like, I need you to grab this girl, take her to the corner, get her far away from this guy as possible, because I'm going to grab him. We're going to dance and win this award.
I mean, isn't the guy the leader of the Scorpions?
No, it's a different
No,
guy.
no,
Oh, it's not, is it
Because
not?
he was
He's
dancing
already
with Riz,
knocked out,
and
Riz.
he was
Yeah.
tapped out.
Okay.
Yeah, because he's
It's a guy in like a bronze brownish suit that I have never seen before. In the
Sounds
movie.
like a featured extra.
It was a featured extra, but that makes me wonder more.
Yeah.
Like,
Why was he
Yeah.
present?
why was he there? You know.
But anyway.
Anyway.
Cha Cha steals Sandy's moment.
Yeah.
Danny
no
and-
imitations of Cha-Cha.
what was that?
No imitations of Cha-Cha.
No, I'm gonna leave that one to the
I think I'm approving of that.
as a
to not do an imitation of Cha Cha.
yes. I will stick with my John Travolta. And
I don't even
Elvis.
think she speaks, though.
I don't think she has a
No,
line
she
in here at
doesn't,
all.
But
I feel like doesn't she say something?
Maybe 2 lines. I'm Cha Cha.
She's like, I'm Cha
like
Cha.
some Jeff could,
She's just
could
like-
muster up.
I am Cha Cha. I am going to steal the dance.
I'm Cha Cha.
I'm Cha Cha.
It's like what, Cha-Cha Di Victoria or something? Like,
Let's just find out what her name is.
Yeah. We're looking it up now.
isn't she from like the Catholic school?
Charlene Cha Cha Di Gregorio.
Okay,
She's a student at St. Bernadette's.
that's the
That was St. Bernadette's.
yeah,
But she has a bad reputation, according
Terrible.
to Frenchie.
yeah.
bad reputation, whatever that means. Like maybe like, oh yeah, saw her smoking.
Well, what does she specifically say about her? She says something
like-
that's kind of memorable, but
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Agrees.
But at any rate,
we're all looking
Yeah.
up Cha-Cha
I
quotes right now.
I can't.
Cha-Cha's a
remember.
figure in this.
Yes, yes.
They call me Cha-Cha because I'm the best dancer at St. Bernard's, and then Frenchie says, with the worst reputation.
With
That's what
the
she
worst
says. Yeah.
reputation.
Okay.
Good job on that, Jeff.
Yeah.
Nice
Yeah,
work.
there we go.
So
I'm coming at you with the quick Googles.
after at the end of this dance, when somebody moons the camera, we get the most amazing scene afterwards, which is the principal's office like going over the intercom,
Yeah.
like your information has been sent to the FBI. They have technology
Yep.
that can use
Hunt
data
you
scanning
down.
that will hunt you down.
They'll drag you before a congressional subcommittee.
That's amazing. I'm flipping to my third page, which means I think we're almost done with this.
Well, actually, the problem with that is that they actually did send that, but they couldn't get the guy, and then he ended up being a ringleader of the January 6th riots at the U.S.
No, come on.
He was the QAnon shaman.
All right, you've heard it here, folks. From 1978, the guy who mooned the camera at Rydell High School was QAnon Shaman. So,
I'm so glad about all the viewers we just have now. I'm sure you're all enjoying this.
we could it can be worse. I know we could
Yeah.
do probably worse in terms of like scooting off all of our followers. So then I think unless I'm incorrect, I think we have the drive-in scene after this.
Yeah, it's the drive-in scene. But you know what? A line that I actually like during like the teacher's presentation is they're like, every one of our like young men here at the school can be a good man, just like that Vice President Nixon.
Oh yeah, the Vice President Nixon. I thought of you
that
right
clean-
away when I saw that.
Everyone thinks of me when they think of Nixon or John Travolta.
Because, like,
Why Nixon?
Cathy, have you seen the back of his laptop? It's got a picture of Richard Nixon bowling on it. I don't know why that's there. I don't know why half the stuff on your computer is there, but yeah, for folks listening, Jeff has a sticker on the back of his laptop of Richard Nixon bowling.
Yes.
You can Google it, and it'll probably find the accurate picture. It's just
Yeah.
Richard
It's
Nixon.
in, it's in the
bowling.
Big Lebowski for anyone who's.
Oh, is that why?
I mean, I just think it's a funny image, regardless. I think Richard Nixon's a very funny individual, but he's decidedly not as clean cut as the principal is hyping him up as. Is this well-to-do vice president of ours?
Yeah.
I'm not a crook.
Well, isn't this is
driving before a professional subcommittee.
so the drive-in scene happens, and we get Dan.
Speed limitation.
I'm just trying to speed through this.
So we find out a couple things.
So you find out a
Yes.
couple things
Yeah.
at the drive-in.
Yeah.
One of the main things that I wanted to talk about is Danny and Sandy and how Danny like gives her his ring, and like I don't get context as to what that means back in the 50s. If you give a girl, you're like,
you're my girl. Like that's
big
it.
deal.
this is you're my girl.
You're my girl. That's it.
See, because for all those Gen Zers listening, I grew up in the era of promise rings, and I thought that was just really dumb. But I guess, is that like what it was? It's kind of like, not an engagement ring, but it's
No.
like,
Did your school have class rings?
we did have class rings.
Okay. So I guess it's that kind of equivalent of like,
Gotcha.
it's like you only get one. And if you're handing somebody, it means you trust them, that you're going to know them for long enough that.
Oh, you can get more than one, though.
I mean, it's symbolic.
But like, it's just like, you know.
I mean, who wants to spend? They're expensive. Who wants to spend money
you
on
could only
two?
I could get like 5
Who
if
wants,
I
who wants to spend money? Who wants to spend that money? These are
Give each of them to a girl who thinks
these are
I
high
trust
school.
them a
These are high
lot,
schoolers who work
you
at
know?
the burger joint down the street. They can't afford 2 rings.
Just say it, Jeff. You know, there are loopholes with this. So,
But they're at the drive-through.
Daddy gives.
Are they
Sandy-
watching The Blob, or is that?
Yes, because
think so,
or
yeah.
I think that was the part that I talked about earlier in the episode where there was like a Blob commercial.
I just
and then
have a
it cuts
note.
to the drive-in.
I have a note that just says The Blob, and I can't remember if it's
Yeah.
that they're watching that or if it's just a commercial.
I think it's they're watching a commercial. The movie hasn't started yet, and
Yeah.
I know that because when Danny's singing "Stranded at the Drive-Thru," he's singing in front of the backdrop
Yeah.
of a hot dog jumping into
Yeah.
a hot dog
Yeah.
bun.
Right.
Which,
Subtlety.
yeah, like talk about
yeah.
watching it as kids. It's like,
Right,
yeah.
right.
who
I
knows?
actually thought it was interesting when they're at the drive-thru and spontaneously it just starts playing the missing 19 minutes of the Watergate tapes. and Richard Nixon comes. I don't know what I'm going for here.
Was that a bit, Jeff?
That was an attempt at a bit, and it crashed and burned.
Was it a bit? Because, yeah.
It crashed and burned like the Scorpion's car.
Yeah, no kidding. Or crashed and burned like Danny's car, which is why the end of the movie is the way it is, which is a theory that I have. Oh.
You better tell me that Danny Zuko's dead. Anyway, they're at the drive-thru. Danny's dancing in front of this hot dog, jumping into a bun.
Because he tries to get fresh with Sandy, and she won't.
Yeah.
She won't stand for it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Sandy's standing up for herself, which we like to see.
Right.
Yep. And Danny's just a horny little toad.
Right.
He's got that arm.
He's got
that hand.
Yeah.
So he says, "Your parrot on this shoulder or this shoulder?"
Mm-hmm. And he's like, "Here, think out a Yellow Pages ad." But no, she storms off.
Yeah.
And he's literally stranded at the drive-thru. I mean, did she take the car?
No, she runs away.
But he's stranded like without a date.
He's stranded metaphorically.
But what's happening, like in congruency of that scene, is also Rizzo, I think, who thinks she's pregnant.
Right.
Yeah.
And so she tells Marty or Frenchie. I think it was Marty.
I think it was Marty too.
Yeah. And so and she's like, "You can't tell anybody." And she says something like, "Move out of the way, people. We got a pregnant lady."
Lady with the baby. Lady with the baby.
And then one of the T-Birds, I think it was Duty, is like, "Wait, what's going on with Riz?" And she's like, "Oh, well, don't tell anybody. Riz is pregnant." And then, of course, he talks, says, "Oh, Riz has got a butt in the oven." And then it goes on until Kinnicky hears it. It's like, "So I hear you carrying a kid." She's like, "Wow, word travels around fast here."
I really like that scene where it's just like one dolly shot. Following Rizzo walking
from
through as all these people behind are like
beautiful
learning
shot.
it, and then it's just like it's a big U back to her with Kinnicky.
Yeah. But then she says that it's not Kinnicky's.
Yeah.
And that's like defense mechanism, more truthful, whatever it might be. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
was it?
I think it's his.
You think? Yeah.
Or she was not pregnant.
She was not pregnant, but in the time that she thought she was pregnant, would she have thought it was his or somebody else? And when she told him it wasn't his, was that a defense mechanism, or was she honestly being truthful?
If I was trying to like have a problem with this movie necessarily, that would be my biggest one. Is it feels like Rizzo's solution is really like just quick and brushed aside. It's like she has this beautiful song about like time's traveling fast. She's
kind of like what her image is around.
She's
Right.
growing up. She feels like people are like looking at her differently. Like she's wasting her youth. And then at the end, it's like, no, it's just a false positive. I'm fine.
Yeah.
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 And her and Kinnicky made up, and they're fine now.
Right. And I never really knew if it. I thought she was a defense mechanism too.
Mm-hmm.
That if she was pregnant, then it would have definitely have been Kinnicky's.
And then he seems disappointed.
Yeah. Well, that's like the 50s mantra, where it's, you get a girl pregnant, you got to marry her, and then that's it. Like,
right.
And Saturday Night Fever, it's like, hey, I got a friend.
Right.
We got this girl pregnant. It's like, well, then you got to marry her.
Yeah.
So
this movie and Saturday Night Fever are similar in a lot of ways in that they both have, a pregnancy subplot with like the side characters.
Characters who die at the end.
Except Saturday Night Fever is about someone who kills themselves at the end because they can't like quantify being a father.
Yeah.
And in Greece, it's like, no, it was just a false positive. We're all good.
And they just dance.
And they dance and they go together.
Ferris wheel and,
Yep.
But first we have the car chase.
We have, we are at the 1 hour, 23 minute mark in the movie.
The 1 hour, 23 minute mark in the movie.
1 hour and 10 minute mark in the podcast. So we're doing all right, folks. So yeah, afterwards, they stand at the drive-thru. We go to the mechanic shop with the Thunder Road beforehand, where Kinnicky is asking Danny, it's like, hey, like, I don't know how to tell you this, but like, I would like you to be there during my race. And they're like, he's like, oh, like, you want me to be there with you? And he's like, yeah. And then they go for a hug and almost immediately do the tough guy thing where they're combing their hairs.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Right.
Cool. Yeah, bro. Yeah. All right. Sounds good. Yeah, all right. And then that's when Rizzo and Sandy talk. Yeah. It cuts to then the scene with Rizzo and Sandy. And this is where I said early in the podcast that, like, yeah, Sandy's like accent was present throughout the whole movie.
Right.
But
Crocky,
this
Crocky, some shrimp on the
particular
barbie and all that,
scene-
you know?
In this particular scene, it is like from a 7 out of 10 to a 15 out of 10 Australian accent. Like, it had to be the first scene they shot.
Walking around Sydney here.
It had to be the first scene they shot
Kangaroo.
in the entire movie.
A dingo.
Was that scene.
Giant tarantula.
And then, they're watching the dailies, right?
Or the Outback Steakhouse. Koala. It's a koala in my backyard. It's a koala. It's eating my chop.
Okay, so, all right. They were watching the dailies after because Rizzo and Sandy's scene had to be the first day they shot. So then they're watching the dailies afterwards, the producer, the director, Randall Kleiser, and they're all listening to Sandy's lines, and they're like, boys, I knew she was Australian, but I didn't know she was that Australian. And then, like, they made a note to her the rest of the shoot's like, can you, like, dial back the accent as well as you can?
Like, did you film this in the Aboriginal cliffs?
I'm serious. Like, if you watch that scene and the rest of the movie, it's like when she talks to Rizzo, it's 7 to a 15. It's so strong of an accent.
I have to go back and watch that scene now that you're saying it.
Yeah, I promise.
It's a sweet little moment, though.
Yeah.
It is a sweet moment.
It is.
for
It's
sure.
a good scene. And
Yeah.
we're only like chortling about the accents.
Yeah, but it is a sweet scene.
Yeah, so then Rizzo goes on to sing her own song, and this is... Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say there's a lot of like sweetness and just how much this movie does stick to like the "we go together" ideology, where all these characters do stick together.
We go together. That should be a
Yeah,
song.
we go together. That would be a good song if they were to put it in the
How
movie.
well do
I
you
wonder
think
if they
we would-
will.
How well do you think we would go together? Like, would you say like, shooby dooby 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 dooba dooba?
What wang dang dang or whatever
Okay,
the
cool.
next part is.
But no, I really think with Rizzo's song that Jeff and I are actually kind of talking about this in the car on the way up here is that Rizzo really is the sleeper agent in this film in terms of like she's when you first meet her, it's like that's the high schooler I relate to the most, where it's like I'm just done with this place and I want to do me, and that's
Right.
it. Where it's like everybody's got their own little cliques and their own little hyperbolized versions of what their own reality entails, whereas Rizzo I feel like is living in the real world, experiencing the real world, and when something bad happens, she's like, I'm just gonna take it and
She's
do what I
the,
can.
the stealth main character
Yeah.
of this
Yeah.
movie.
Rizzo is out for Rizzo, and rightly so. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's where
Yeah.
I like her character in the movie a lot.
Yeah.
So
But now it's
Rizzo
the
fan.
dudes being dudes car chase.
now it's dudes being dudes car chase, Thunder Road Race.
Yes.
Yes.
Down in the gullies of LA. I forget what they're called. Like
Yeah.
the water.
Well, it's like that scene in Terminator 2 when
A lot of car chases have been filmed in this place.
T-1000 is chasing John Connor on his dirt
Come
bike.
with me if you want to leave.
That, yeah. Yep. That's
John Travolta, get in car.
So for some reason, I was writing down a note during this particular moment and I missed it. But what happened to Kinnicky that caused him to not be able to drive?
I know.
What happened?
Well, Marty was giving him a lack of, like a good luck, a good luck penny or something like
Yeah.
that, and he drops it. She drops it, and then he goes to pick it up, and someone opens the door and knocks him out.
Okay.
Right.
I just remember
Yes.
he got knocked out.
Yeah.
And I didn't remember how he got knocked
it's
out.
It's a real like Charlie Chaplin like comedy routine where he drops a log at like the penny grabs it and like gets hit in the head with a car door.
And then he's like, "I'm seeing two of you, man."
too.
And he's like, Danny, you gotta go for me.
Yeah. So Danny goes in, and this is they got the two cars, but one of them has like the little what is this thing on the wheels that cuts into the cars and all that stuff.
You know, like the blades that come out.
Blades that come out.
Yeah.
It's like
It's a scary car.
it's a very scary car.
It's got weapons.
I don't think it'd
Yeah.
have that much mileage for that wheel design.
Yeah.
Probably not. Probably not very good mileage.
I mean, but you can take out all the other. It's like Mad Max. You can just take out the other guys on the road with you.
Yeah. And so we get that race, and
Ooh, I mean, I wonder if Mad Max is Sandy's dad. He's Australian.
Where's he going?
that's a cut. That's a cut. So Danny wins the
My word is
race.
for you in blood. No, that's bad. I'm sorry.
Danny wins the
Keep
race, and Sandy's watching.
Right.
But she feels like bad. Like she feels like a little guilty. And at least the way I don't know how you folks read that scene, but the way I read that scene, in terms of the context that I already knew where the movie was heading, like I
Right.
knew she was going to change her ways. And so when I read that scene, it's like, oh, like this is Danny's world. This is Danny's like reality, his universe. Like this is where he belongs.
Right.
And if he's somebody I want to be devoted to, like I just got to learn to live with that.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
And then, like, is it Frenchie that says, like, are you happy? She goes, no, but I think I know a way I could be.
yeah. I agree. So it's an interesting moment. And there's a song that she's singing and a voiceover in the background because she's not actually singing
Yes.
it. Like,
Yeah.
not that none of the singing is live, but it's not even dubbed. It's just like voice and singing in the background.
Kind of like, is it a Sandra D kind of?
It's
Yeah,
a Sandra
yeah.
D like
Yeah.
cover. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And they play a good Grease Lightning cover during the chase as well.
they do.
It's a lot of fun. John Travolta's
Yeah.
having a good time speeding that car around.
Yeah. Yeah, as I've said before, I have my thoughts about the Thunder Road scene,
Yeah,
but
we'll get to it
we'll
at the
get to
very
it
end.
at the very end. So,
Yeah, Sandy changes her ways for her man.
but school's out.
Yes.
School is
School's out
out,
for summer.
and this is when they turn on like the little intercom. It's like do 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 do,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
stops her from playing
Yeah.
the thing, and they make the announcement of like everyone's going out and it's the end of the school year, and they're all teary eyed, and then they ring the bell. All the kids race out. Carnival.
Yeah, and they sing "We Go Together" because they're going. Oh wait, no! First
Way
we have wait.
Yeah.
Whoa! I've really.
Whoa, Jeffy boy.
Wait. Okay.
I got chills,
Okay.
Jeff.
They're multiplying.
Yes.
Now, yes,
And
Are you losing control?
all control. But first we have to emphasize before we get to the song. Danny's wearing a Letterman jacket
Yes. That's I'm
because
glad you brought
he's
that up.
conforming to her.
Thank
Yeah.
you. I was gonna wait
Yeah.
and start saying that because I know the big thing is that people saying
conforms
she
to him.
conforms, but he was ready to conform also.
Mm-hmm.
He had his
Yeah.
little Leatherman jacket, leather sweater on, whatever it was,
Mm-hmm.
and he was ready to do the same thing.
Yeah.
So they're on the same page.
And then they decide greasers are cooler.
Yeah.
Or
'Cause he
leather's
took
cooler.
Or she just looks cuter in her outfit than he
Yeah,
does in
that's
his.
true.
I'm not sure, but
Because he takes off his sweater, but
Pretty quick.
she's in the black.
Yeah.
In the black to stay.
And they both tell each other, "You're the one that I want."
yeah.
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Ooh. One. This is the 1 hour and 42-minute mark, and we also learned that Rizzo isn't pregnant.
Yes, Rizzo's not
Yeah.
pregnant.
And this is those funny like moments when in the middle they're dancing and singing.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my god, this plot line got resolved.
Yeah.
This
Right,
plot line
right.
got resolved. This plot line got resolved.
Eddie
We're
Dezzine
all
pop back
happy.
up. Like the nerdy guy Eugene. Doesn't he
Yeah,
pop back
something
up?
like
Eddie
that.
Dezzine?
Yeah.
Oh, there's a dancer in this, and at the end, we go together that just catches my eye every time.
Mm-hmm.
He's just like doing like some weird little dance. I mean, he's nobody,
Yeah.
but every time I'm like, there's that guy. Like this guy just like catches
That
my
guy
eye.
would probably be so happy to hear that his background performance attracts
Yeah.
someone's attention.
If you're one of the background performers in Greece, please reach out to us. What's our email?
Travoltingpodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah, just let us know.
Also
and
at
send
us on Twitter or Instagram at Travolting.
Send us a headshot of what you looked like in 1978, and then we'll try to cross-reference Kathy's recognition, and we'll find you and put you on the podcast
Yeah, we'll bring you on.
for
We'll
a
make this
follow-up
happen.
episode where we just talk about
Grease too.
Grease too.
The backup dancer, just the dancers.
Yeah. So yeah, and the
Travolting adjacent podcast. Where
Yeah.
we just talk about all the people who are not John Travolta. in the
Yeah.
movies.
That's every movie ever, Jeff. So at any rate, what's interesting about You're the One That I Want is it's one of the most grounded. Jeff is showing a phone to Kathy
We're getting a text from someone else in the building
in the building.
who said, Jesus, how much is there to say about Danny Zuko?
We're almost done. We are getting to the end of the movie. But what I really like about You're the One That I Want is it's one of the most grounded songs because it's not like they're cutting to a fantasy
they're in a
aspect.
carnival.
Right.
They're just, they're not even just in a carnival. The camera's just going through the fun house.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So it's there's no like cuts to whimsical dream scene. It's just the two of them in this fun house singing to each other. You're the one I want. And I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was.
It's a good song. I like that one.
Yeah. So
Because
then-
you're the one that I want.
Yeah. And then when you know that the other person is the one you want, then you tend to go together.
Yeah.
Right.
And then they all go together.
Right.
They all
We go
together.
together.
Copyright, Copyright, folks.
Fair use policy.
I don't know how much fair use policy we can get away with, but yeah, they sing "We Go Together."
Yes.
It's a great song, and everybody sings it.
Yeah, it's a lovely song. And then Sandy and Danny get in a car, and it takes flight. You just zoom out
Completely
of it.
normal. I mean,
Completely normal.
It happens.
my
you know?
11-year-old
Yeah.
head or 12-year-old head was like, okay,
Yeah,
this is normal.
this is totally
Yep.
fine.
You know, they actually, I was reading, they actually filmed a kiss scene between the two of them, aside from this, at the end here.
Did they not kiss in the movie?
I think they do, but it was like another one. But it was accidentally filmed in black and white.
Whoa.
So they've been trying to color it for like 40 years and put it back in the movie.
Oh, wow.
And they have not succeeded yet.
Did they just
The
get
goal
wrong
is to have
film
it ready
stock?
for the 50th anniversary in 2028.
Wait, there isn't really any kissing in this movie.
I'm just
Yeah.
recognizing that.
Yeah.
Does John Travolta and Ellie Newton-John kiss in this movie?
Do
I
they,
seem
in
to
the
think they
first
might not.
scene, like at the beach?
We are all petrified right now.
Yeah.
I don't know if they kiss
I
in the
think
movie.
that might
Do-
be the
do-
only time.
Here, due to an editing error, a closing scene in which Danny and Sandy kiss was removed from the finished print and lost before its theatrical release. The scene was preserved only in black and white. They attempted to have it colorized and restored for the 1998 re-release, but were dissatisfied. The scene is included as an extra on the 40th anniversary home video release, and an attempt is being made to colorize it that's effective enough for it to be reinserted by time for the film's 50th anniversary in 2028.
Wow.
So we will reconvene in 7 years to talk about the added like 20 seconds of grease.
Wow. Yeah, and I'm just freaked out that I don't know if they kiss at all in this movie.
You just watched it last night. How dare you?
Yeah, but I don't.
How dare
I don't
you. How
remember
dare
seeing
you.
them. Like, kissing is one of those things. Like, you kind of get like numb to it in a movie of like, oh, they kiss, moving on. But when they don't kiss in a movie,
Yeah.
that kind of says something. It's like
Yeah.
when what's that old show with Lucy and
I
the
Love
rest of them
Lucy?
sleep in separate beds.
I Love
Yeah.
Lucy.
I
It's
Love
like
Lucy or-
now, like if you show that to somebody,
Did
and
you
they're
just
like,
ask what's that show with Lucy?
Stop it.
And it's
Why
like,
are you
I
staying
Love
on this?
Lucy?
Dick Van Dyke too. They don't sleep together.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like we watch it now. It's like, why aren't they sleeping in the same bed together?
It's literally a-
Back then, it'd be like, oh, that's totally normal,
yeah.
totally normal. But it's not normal.
No.
You know, they all end happy at the end of this movie, which I like.
Yeah.
But
I like that.
have you ever seen American Graffiti?
No.
That's a movie that ends in a somewhat similar form, except right after the ending, it pops up with like all their high school graduation photos and says what happened to these characters after the fact. And like one of them like dies a year later in a drunk driving accident.
Oh, God.
One of them's like missing in action in Vietnam. But what?
Oh God.
What if Grease had ended with that? Where it's like we go to, and they fly off, and then it's just like a picture of John Travolta like killed in action in Lawn Dock in Vietnam. Like Kaneki pops up, and it's like
Oh God. No.
Kaneki pops up. It's like working a 9-to-5 desk job in like South and like Santa Clarita or something like that. It's like all
Yeah.
these horrible things that happen to these people.
Frenchie never went back to beauty school.
I just think because they're both like 50s nostalgia movies. And
Yeah.
that would have been funny.
Well, because I think there is like I know one of the most popular theories is that Sandy drowned at the beach at the beginning, and the whole entire movie is just her imagination, and like the very end when she's like going as her ascension into heaven.
But you have a theory that it's John Travolta.
But I have a theory that it's John Travolta that's dead, and that he actually died
is
in the Thunder
cursed.
Road race scene. That there was an accident that when they like got up on that and he like flipped his car over, because I did the math and the geometric physics.
You did the geometric physics.
Listen,
He was breaking out his protractor,
listen.
folks.
If you
This is otherwise known as he was thinking about it in bed.
if you study the friction capability of these tires with the weight that would be
friction
applied on
capability of these
top
tires.
of them,
The weight that would be
these
applied on
cars
top
back
of
in the
them.
1950s were made of like
1950s,
pure
made of
metal,
pure
aluminum.
aluminum.
Shut up, Jeff. Okay.
Sounds a little bit like my cousin Vinny.
Got Bill Nye over here.
Basically, what I'm saying is, John Travolta died in that race, and the rest of the movie following that race
In the next 5 minutes.
is his like just the cortexes of his mind just like going crazy before he actually goes brain dead and dies.
Wow.
Well, that's dark.
We got real dark here, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I think happens is he wins the race and everyone's happy and they go together.
No, John Travolta died at the Thunder Road race.
And then Sandy and him like have love forever. And
I think so too. I don't think anybody dies.
yeah,
I think they
the
fly
all
off in
fine.
that car.
We've been talking about terrible things at the end of this movie.
So Jeff, to close us out, you have a Grease 3.
First we got to talk about this movie's release.
Okay.
Because it's a huge box office success.
All right. We're coming at an hour and a half
For
right
a
now.
time, this was the third highest grossing movie of all time.
Yeah.
It was Star Wars, The Godfather, and Grease.
Oh,
Wasn't Jaws?
Oh, Jaws, my bad. Jaws, Star Wars, and Grease.
Yeah.
The Godfather was prior to that. But yeah, it was the third highest grossing movie of all time. It topped the box office like for 66 days. It grossed $100 million. It's Paramount's highest grossing film, or at the time it was, that it beat out Godfather is the highest grossing film that Paramount ever released. Highest grossing film in
Wow.
1978.
it beat out Godfather?
Yeah. It beat out The Sound of Music as the highest grossing musical of all time at its time. It was not beaten until Les Mis in 2012.
Wow.
And then, but that was worldwide. Domestically, it wasn't
was-
beaten until Beauty and the Beast in 2017.
It wasn't
the
beaten
live
by
action one.
Hairspray?
It was not. John Travolta did not beat himself.
So do you guys think it's largely due to John Travolta or
I think it's
being
the
so
cultural.
popular?
Yeah, I think it was a mix of everything. Like
The culture.
he was hot at the time. Olivia Newton. I mean, he was hot in a lot of ways at the time, but he was hot at the time. Olivia Newton-John was hot at the time.
True.
And it all just came together in this enduring classic of a movie that
And Grease was also a popular
stayed
musical
popular
as well that had a
musical.
long time. Like I think it was on its 7th year running
Yeah.
when the time the film released.
and it all just pops off and just led
Yeah.
to this
Perfect timing.
perfect timing
yeah,
that led to
perfect
this
storm. Yeah.
perfect movie for its time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's a reason we're still talking about it today.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
They did make a sequel,
They did make
Grease
a sequel
2.
with Michelle Pfeiffer.
We shall not talk about it.
No,
no,
I've never seen it. Probably
I've never
will.
seen it.
I've never seen it either.
That's probably good.
There's like a lot of Grease adjacent stuff like in the works right now. Though.
Grease Live won like 5 or 4 Emmys or something like that, though.
Grease Live is apparently really good,
Yeah.
but they're currently working on a prequel called Summer Loving, which would just be about Danny Zuko and Sandy at the beach.
How would that
boy.
be eventful at all?
They're also making a TV show called what's it called?
Greased Up.
No, it's called like the Ladies of Rise of the Pink Ladies. It's gonna be on Paramount Plus, a thing that no one has ever used before.
Oh, none of this sounds.
I think the only acceptable like Grease sequel would be like The Parent Trap.
Is this your Grease 3?
Yeah, my Grease 3 or Grease The Return.
Okay.
And it would be
Talk to us about
John
Grease 3. The
like
Return.
John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John for some reason or another have split up many years later.
So we're shooting this today.
We're shooting this today.
with
This is happening
now
today.
John Travolta and now Olivia Newton-John.
But they're kids, and it was like a Parent Trap deal where like one parent gets each kid. And they meet back up at high school and decide they have to set their parents back up.
Like we get them back together.
Yeah, we're getting our parents back together.
like
It's literally the Parent Trap. Yeah, we're getting our parents back together. That's the only acceptable pitch I think for a Grease sequel. Do I think they should actually do it? Probably not.
Who would you cast as the kids and how old are they?
Oh, Oh, they'd be teenagers. They would be like the same age as the main characters were in this movie.
18.
Yeah, we bring back the whole crew. Everyone's coming back for this.
17, 18, 19. Okay, so
Frenchie's coming back.
So actors now 17, 18, 19 that could pass off as John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John's kids.
Yes. In terms of like, I mean, it needs to be someone who's good. Maybe we'll just cast the Grease Live people. I don't know.
Aaron Tveit.
Tveit, and Selena Gomez. Was Selena Gomez?
What
No,
about like
it
a
was Julian
17
Huff.
again thing?
Yeah, like a
kinda?
17 again.
Yeah. Something you just want them to be back at their high school.
Yeah, I want to get these kids
Yeah.
back at these kids are at the high school and they got to set their parents back up. Anyway, this is never going to happen. They're
Well-
never going to make this movie.
Well, it depends on
But-
how gross the divorce is, you know. If Olivia Newton-John filed a restraining order, or if Sandy filed a restraining order against Danny,
They kept having chills.
For-
They kept multiplying and wouldn't stop.
yeah, you know, maybe Danny found like a religion that was really toxic to their family dynamic, and that's why Sandy had to get out.
I mean, like Scientology?
You said it, not me.
You said it. Jeff.
You said it, Jeff.
To be talked about.
be
Look
talked
Who's Talking.
Look who's
I
talking.
mean, literally, look who's talking.
Yeah.
But
But what a great talk.
This movie got nominated for 1 Academy Award, hopelessly devoted to you.
Yep.
It was nominated for 5 Golden Globes. For Best Musical or Comedy, John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John got nominated. Best Actor and Actress. And Grease and You're the One That I Want got nominations at the Golden Globes.
Yep.
The Golden Globes really don't make much sense. I mean, we all know this, but still essential for this movie's legacy.
Yeah.
Did they win anything?
It won... It did not win any major awards. It did win the Stockard Channing People's Choice Award. Oh, wait, no, Stockard Channing won the People's Choice Awards for Favorite Supporting Actress.
Oh, well, that tells you something.
Yeah.
TV Land, it also was nominated for the TV Land Award for a movie dance sequence you reenacted in your living room. Number 20 in the American Film Institute's greatest movie musicals.
Yeah.
It's a classic.
Yeah, it's a classic, and
It's a classic. You have to see it.
I'm glad we are still talking about it today.
I am too.
This was a very good chat.
This was a really great chat.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Kathy, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
It was a genuine pleasure to bring you on.
It was a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, you
I
always have an
enjoyed-
open invite if you ever want to come back.
Oh, I'm ready anytime.
Yeah.
I've seen most of his movies. I didn't. Maybe not though. How many are you guys doing?
66.
Now I'm wondering if I have.
Have you seen
I'm
the
gonna find the weird- let's find the most-
1975 film The Devil's Reign?
Have you ever
I
seen?
actually did not see that.
Have you ever seen The General's Daughter?
Yes.
Quick, Jeff, is there anybody booked for that
Yes,
one?
I am. I don't remember anything about it, but I did
a civil
see it.
action,
Yes.
primary color.
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Shout.
No.
Staying Alive,
Of course.
Two of a Kind,
Of course.
Moment by Moment,
Yes.
Chains of Gold.
No.
We're watching Moment by Moment next week.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's our next one.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're watching that in Urban Cowboy next week.
Urban Cowboy's
Yeah.
a great one. You know, yeah.
He's
that's
a
good
cowboy,
one.
but he's urban.
Oh, I love
What
that
if a
one.
cowboy was in the city?
I mean, you just expected him to sing and
Yeah.
dance through everything, for a while. So, a couple of these, Moment by Moment. Is that with Lily Tomlin?
Yeah, with Lily Tomlin.
Oh, I gotta dig deep into the archives to remember some of these. But good luck, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're I mean, right now we're on a real hot streak of like good movies.
Yeah.
But there's some periods in the 80s and the 2000s that I'm looking at with dreaded eyes.
Yeah, Staying Alive is
That's a toughie.
it is a toughie. It's,
That one's gonna be paired with Blowout in terms of us recording. So we're going
Yeah.
from a high to a low very quickly.
Right. Well, Jeff,
Anyway, we
Should
will
we
talk
wrap this
about
up?
that movie another day.
well, I love having you, or I love being here with you guys.
That was a-
This
Yeah.
is
This was a
this is great.
genuine
you're
pleasure
also
having
having us because,
I know.
like, for folks listening, we are at Kathy's house right now.
I stopped myself from saying it. I tried to. This is
Yeah. We are recording this in your master bedroom
we are.
in your house in
on
the
a fold-out
suburb,
table.
45 minutes outside of Chicago, Illinois, on a fold-out table. Oh, man.
With the door locked.
With the door
we were
locked.
walking in, my dog, my husband.
Yeah, folks might have heard like a dog bark or whatever. It's all good. Good fun. These are good mics.
Yeah, thank you all for listening. Make sure to tune in next week, as we said, for our episode on Moment by Moment. It's a movie that does not exist. If you want to watch it prior to this, good luck. I had to order a DVD off of eBay because it's not on any streaming service or available for rent. But if you want to, be committed. Go ahead. We bought the DVD, so it's out there. We're watching it. Make sure to rate, review, subscribe on whatever platform you're listening to. As a reminder, we are available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and YouTube.
All four.
Please, on whatever platform you're using, make sure to subscribe, throw us a like, throw us a review if you can, a comment. We'll take it. We'll respond. We'll appreciate it. If you want to talk to us, you can reach us at Travolting Pod on Twitter or Instagram. We'll have updates and fun stuff on there, though I am very bad at updating it, so I got to get better at that. Yeah. We have a Reddit, r/Travolting, where you can discuss the episodes if you so are inclined. You can email us questions or comments, travoltingpodcast@gmail.com, or if you're the background dancer from that scene and we go together, or you're the one that I want, you can also email us there.
Yeah, send us headshots of what you looked like in 1978.
You can personally reach me at Jeff W. Sweeney on Twitter. You can personally find Stu
at Stuart0195 on Instagram.
Special thanks to Rebecca Johnson for our graphic design, as always, and Michael Van Bodegum Smith for our theme music. Thank you guys so much. You are essential parts of the show, and we're glad to have you.
Thanks. We're recording?
Should I lock that?
You don't have to.
I'm going to.
I think it'll be really funny.
That was just funny timing. It was right when you...
I'm going to.
Okay, cool.
Okay. Because, that, of course, happened. I just told my mother not to call, because she would definitely call 20 times.
Mid-episode, we're just going to hear...
We're still recording.
Yes, Yoda, I am. Episode, this is on Greece.
Is that it? Do you want me to stop recording?
What if we put the Yoda dialogue?
This is all being
We're
recorded.
900 years old. You each look as good. You will not.
This is 100% Instagram material.
Put this at the end of the episode.
Okay. I will.
After the outro, just throw this in there.
Okay.
Wait, my
Done deal.
husband did a Yoda, and when the kids were little, one of the friends, would call. Or he'd be over, I was, kind of watching him for the mom, and he was obsessed with coming to our house because he thought Yoda called our house all the time. So it was, constantly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Around the survivors, a perimeter create.
Do you want to record the intro for the episode?
Okay.
All right. One,
We're
two.
at 1 minute and 30 seconds.
1, 2. Covering Greece. Hey, what's the matter with you? With very special guest, Cathy Schumann. And that's
Can we
it.
get one? Just, you know what? I'm going to turn down. I turned off your mic, so let's just do that again.
Do I need to do Greece as well again?
Just do them all, yeah.
Okay.
Take 2.
Covering Greece. Covering Greece. Covering Greece. Oh, what the hell? With very special guest, Cathy Schumann.